The heart of your teams, the heart of Michigan. Bally Sports Detroit, the heart of the fan.
Go West, young man, go West. East Grand Rapids, Michigan plays host to this edition of Football Fridays. And the hometown Pioneers are set to tangle with their old friends from Lowell. It's a battle of two of the best pedigrees in the state when it comes to high school football. The Red Arrows and Pioneers boast trophy cases as decorated as anybody's, anywhere. And they'll meet on the field for the 53rd time tonight. The calendar has turned to October, and we are ready for another fabulous night of high school football. It's East Grand Rapids, it's Lowell, it's now on Bally Sports. Reed's Lake, the backdrop here in East Grand Rapids Memorial Stadium, the home to the Pioneers. Welcome inside, everybody. I'm Johnny Kane, joined alongside by my partner, Rob Rubick. I'll tell you what, Rubes, we're expecting a fabulous football game here tonight between two perennial powers in the state of Michigan, talking about the Red Arrows from Lowell and, of course, the Pioneers here from East Grand Rapids. What type of game are you expecting?
Well, first of all, don't be deceived by the 1-4 records. They both have gone through the gauntlet as far as their schedule has been. What I expect here is an old-school smash-mouth football game. I'm glad I'm not paid by the hour tonight because this could go fast. These two teams are going to get at it. They're both going to try to possess the football. It's going to be a ground-and-pound physical football game, and that's what I expect from these two perennial powers.
Well, you talk about Lowell again coming in, not like Lowell to come in with a 1-4 record. But as you mentioned, they played a really tough schedule through the first 5 weeks. One of the best playmakers on both sides of the ball, young man named Blough. What's the scouting report on number 3 in white?
Well, you know, our third partner, Trevor Thompson, I had a chance to go talk to him a little bit and stand and look at this young man. He won the third in the state at 215-pound in wrestling. So this is a very proud wrestling school, and they play like that. You're going to see the Red Arrows being very physical, and they're led by number 3, Blough. Both sides of the ball, he's going to carry the ball a lot tonight. He's a horse to try to bring down. And on defense, he likes to bring it. He's going to come up from his linebacker position. He fills, he wraps, he grabs. He's a tremendous high school football player.
Well, for the home team Pioneers, they've got a young man in the middle of their defense named Matthias Grady. Comes from a long pedigree of good football players in this part of the state. What's so special about this kid?
Well, being a Grady coming from East Grand Rapids is like being a Kane coming from Ohio. A long lineage of great players. But I think all the coaches in this area hope this is the last Grady that comes through because he is a player as well. Once again, double duty. He's going to carry the ball a little bit on offense, but he's also going to be in the middle on defense. 220 pounds, he can run, he can move, and he makes plays.
Well, let me ask you about this. Again, for both of these football teams, we're here about the midway point of the season, but both of them have something in front of them with respect to the playoffs.
Well, I don't want to say, that Johnny, that this is an elimination game, but you're 1-4. If you can run the table 5-4 with the schedule these two teams have played, they will get into the playoffs. They will get in at 5-4 this year with the new point system, being rewarded for the level of competition that you play. Both these teams have played a very, very tough schedule.
All right, we're expecting a fabulous atmosphere. How about the Red Arrows coming out? They'll be wearing white here tonight. They've got the black helmets on, and, of course, Grand Rapids in the notorious blue and gold, and here they come. This is going to be a heck of a football game here on a Friday night, and we are thrilled to have you joining us here. It is Football Fridays, and we are watching on Bally Sports. We're going to turn it over to the in-house public address announcer for tonight's national anthem.
We'll cover a little anthem. We'll start here, then go back. Yep.
Will everyone please rise, and gentlemen, remove your hats as we pay tribute to our country by performing its national anthem, the Star-Spangled Banner.
Rapids marching band, about 100 strong here. And as my partner Johnny Kane heads up to the booth to call the first half, I'm going to be down here. And let's listen to the Pioneers as they come out.
Let's go!
Let's hear it for your East Grand Rapids.
On the banks of Reed's Lake here in East Grand Rapids, Michigan. Going to be a great Friday night tilt as Lowell comes to town for a battle of 1 and 4 teams who both think that they are better than their current records would indicate right now. Tough schedule so far for Lowell. A couple of tough one-sided losses at the hands of Mona Shores and Caledonia. That's how they spent their first 2 weeks, but they then got a big win over North Forest Hills in week 3. They now come in tonight hoping to continue their playoff push, but they had some problems in the warm-up. Number 7, Josh Lowe, a starter on both sides of the ball, had to get taped up earlier on, twisted his ankle. We'll have to monitor his progress throughout the rest of the game. But their head coach, Josh Heineke, says they will press on because that is the Red Arrow way. In East Grand Rapids, Casey Longo, that got a rich tradition here. He's been a part of it, winning a state title with his Pioneers. He'll lead them into victory tonight, but they're coming off of 3 straight losses. The key for them, he says, winning the turnover battle. They've had over 20 turnovers in the last 3 games alone. They've got to manage the football if they want to win here tonight. But Johnny Kane and Rob Rubick will take care of all that as they handle the action here at Memorial Field tonight. And I'll turn it over to Johnny now. Johnny, it's all yours.
Appreciate it, Trev. What a night. What a great part of the state to be here. And how about this? Perfect conditions. We're in the early part of fall. You cannot beat this. Partly cloudy, they say in the forecast, but absolutely perfect as we're getting ready to get started here at East Grand Rapids. It is Lowell. The Red Arrows will be wearing the white uniforms tonight. They will receive the opening kickoff. And Rob Rubick will be patrolling the sidelines for the first quarter. So we'll hope to bring you some good in-depth analysis from down there on the sideline. Nick Collins, big-legged defensive end, number 7. He'll be doing the kicking off. And that's Connor Lixie, who will be on kick return coverage, number 9 in white. But again, 2 fabulous programs here in the state of Michigan. And as Trevor alluded to, some tough losses here in the early part of the season, but still a lot to play for. And certainly in a rivalry game like this one, we expect anything could happen. See the Pioneer student section, they are decked out in blue and gold at a pep rally a little bit earlier today. They've been all at it for the last several hours, and we are underway. And how about that? We mentioned he had a big leg. He puts it through the back of the end zone, does Nick Collins. So it'll be the Red Arrows who will start at the 20-yard line. So starting quarterback, he's a junior. Wears number 2. It is Dawson Hune. He'll have the opportunity to lead this Red Arrow offense. And Hunes will come out, started a quarterback on the JV team a season ago. This is his first year as starter on varsity. And there's the young man working his way onto the field. Let's check in for the first time with Rob Rubick. Rubes, how's the view?
Oh, this is unbelievable. I get to stand in the end zone. I want to be able to see all the zone blocking schemes, any doubles, and all who's getting movement up front, who's winning in the trenches, Johnny.
Love it. Looking forward to it. Hune hands it off. And up the middle, fighting for some tough yardage. Carter Blough, we talked about him in the open. Expect him to get a bunch of carries here tonight. Carter Blough, number 3, the senior running back. Let's take a look at there's Rob Rubick. Look at it. Did you press those pants today?
I did. I did. That's why I got up at 5 this morning. I was so excited about watching this game.
Hey, you've been calling me all day. Carter Blough with the second carry of the night. Up near the first down sticks, and he's going to be about a yard shy, so that's going to bring up 3rd and about a yard. Let's take a look at some of the impact players on offense for Lowell. Look at the big boys up front, Ethan Willard, Ethan Post, and Bryson Vandermeulen. And then at the skill positions, again, Blough already with 2 carries on the day. Will Neely out at the tight end. Josh Rao, the slot receiver. You heard Trevor Thompson talking about him getting some extra tape here before the game. On 3rd and 1, Hune hands it off. There's Josh Rao leaning forward right at the sticks. It's going to be a first down, Red Arrows.
A little bit different that time, Johnny. You saw him give it the first 2 times to Carter Blough. That time they used him as a lead blocker. They had a double team. He sealed it, and then Rao just bounced to the outside. And as Trevor Thompson alluded to, we saw Josh Rao twist an ankle in pregame. He looks like he's moving okay, but Trevor's going to keep a close eye on that for us.
Well, Rao's one of the best athletes on the team. You know, they've been working him more in the backfield. Started the year primarily at the slot receiver, but there he got an early touch, and he'll get it again here. Rao and corralled, brought down. The first man in there, number 22, Jeremy James, the junior defensive end. Let's flash back. This is a few moments ago. You see Hune airing it out. There's Rao. Look, not a lot of contact, but you can see it's like a lower leg injury. In some pain, able to hobble off under his own power for the most part.
You know,
and
Johnny,
again, they put some extra tape on it.
Sorry, partner. They keep testing the middle. Watch, sooner or later, they're going to pull it and try to get the edge. Maybe a little option action.
This time, the handoff to Blough. Blough gets a couple of tough yards off the left tackle.
When you're an inside veer team, which you see Lowell running right now, the key is the fullback. You got to establish the fullback, and we're seeing so many run plays either off right guard or left guard. But all this does is draw the linebackers in. It makes those defensive ends squeeze, and then once you do that, watch the quarterback. You're going to see Hune. He will pull it, and they'll try to get the edge on the true option.
Yeah, Hune not afraid to carry the football. Not all that big as far as size and stature. Good look at head coach Casey Longo there for East Grand Rapids, now in his 6th season. And it looks like we're going to have a timeout. First time out of the ball game is going to go to Lowell. So, as you alluded to a little bit earlier, Rob, this game could move along pretty quickly because both teams do favor running the football quite a bit. Let's take a look at the East Grand Rapids starters on the defensive side of the football, and they have some really good athletes. Nick Collins will be one at the top of the list. Talented defensive end, Brendan Burns. This guy loves to play football. Matthias Grady, we already talked about a little bit. Rubes comes from a long pedigree of the Grady family playing here at EGR. And then Connor Callahan from the strong safety spot. Another kid who can really get after it. So East Grand Rapids coming in here with a 1-4 mark. Last week, losing a tight one by 3 to Forest Hills Northern. Of course, Coach Longo with a long history of his time here as a player and coaching.
All right, Johnny, big play for Lowell. Now, this is a team that does not throw the ball very well. We're not going to fool ourselves. They don't throw it very often. They don't practice as much because they are a run-based offense. We were watching them pregame, and at times we were kind of kidding. They were struggling completing passes against air. This looks like a passing situation for a lot of teams. Let's see what they do. Maybe a screen or a draw.
Yeah, Hune out of the shotgun. Twins receivers on the near side. Hune will air it out. Ball up in the air. Coming underneath it, making the grab. Number 16, Aiden Fitzpatrick. So how about that? Right on cue. Hune stood strong in the pocket. And his talented junior wideout able to camp out underneath it. Now hurry to the line.
Well, he beat Ryan Ruska. He located the ball. Fitzpatrick did, and Ruska never saw the ball.
There's Carter Blough going to get the carry on first down. Blough plowing his way down to the 34-yard line. Another look at it. Well, hang on. They're going to say ball did come loose. That's going to be second down, however. Bryson Vandermeulen able to fall on top of it for the Red Arrows. Another look at that play you were talking about, Rubes.
Yeah, that's just, you got to locate the football. If you can't locate the football as a defensive back, you're in trouble. Because the offensive guy, obviously, when he leaves the line, he's looking back quickly, and you get beat with a 50-50 ball like that.
Hune hands it off. Blough down inside the 30-yard line. He's at the 29-yard line. That's going to move the sticks one more time. A fabulous opening drive for the visitors from Lowell.
Well, they've already chewed up 4 minutes of this first quarter with their ball possession style offense. And I think Carter Blough might change his name to Carter Plow.
I love
because he is just moving the pile.
He gets after it. And what did Coach Hennigy said, they're in a perfect world, they'd like to run it 80-20. And when they needed to throw it, they did, picked up a big first down, and now they're going back to the bread and butter. And right now, it is the plow machine. And a couple of yards, maybe 2 yards, looks like more like a yard for Carter Blough. That's going to bring up 2nd and 9 under 8 minutes to play here in the opening quarter.
Sooner or later, you might have to try to stretch him outside because Joe Rose, inside, number 86 here, is just doing a great job being physical, using his hands and clogging it up. And if you're going to stop a guy like Blough, get him before you can get going. You give him a head of steam, it becomes tough.
And Joe Rose at 6'4", 195 pounds, throwing his weight around a little bit. There's Blough one more time, makes the first man miss and able to lean forward. So nice chunk yardage there on 2nd and long. That's going to bring up 3rd down. Ball down to the 23-yard line.
And what you like about wrestlers, they have unbelievable balance and quick feet. They're used to people trying to shoot in on them. They're good at keeping people off their legs, and you can see what Carter Blough does. Just keeps those legs moving, keeps them churning, and gets those extra yards.
He's the primary ball carrier in this offense, and they are riding the hot hand right now. It's 2 to 3. There's 2 to 3 one more time. Blough leaning forward down to the 20-yard line. But he's going to be shy of the first down stick. He's going to be about a yard shy. What do you think, Rubes?
Yeah, 100% you're going for it. Now, East Grand Rapids kicker is outstanding. We were watching him warm up, but now Lowell not as quite as strong in the kicking game. They feel that they're winning the line of scrimmage. And if you're Coach Jacob Hennigy in this situation, you trust your lineman and you trust that big back. If you're East Grand Rapids now, be honest defensive. That 52 front, you have to play the inside run. You have to keep doing what you've been doing.
So it's Hune under center, Blough behind him, Rao behind him. And it's going to be Hune keeping it himself. Hune, first down, Red Arrows. So fake the handoff to Blough, did the same with Rao, kept it himself. And that's what they do here on the veer.
I'm sorry, got a little hurry up going here.
First and 10, ball at the 13-yard line. Blough right up the middle, nothing fancy. Inside the 10-yard line. Let's give him 4 yards on first down. They continue to pound the football. And again, Hennigy talked about in our call early in the week, want to control the clock, as much as we can. We want to keep their athletes off the field, so they want to sustain some long drives, and they have done that here on the opening possession of this football game. It'll be 2nd and 6, ball on the 9-yard line. Twin receivers up at the high part of your screen. Hune, ball's loose, picked up by East Grand Rapids. There's a convoy and a touchdown saving tackle made by Aiden Fitzpatrick. But a huge break, Joe Rose. We had him blowing up a play earlier on the drive, and this time comes up with a huge fumble recovery.
Well, they went back to the well. They did the midline veer where the quarterback Hune's going to pull it. As he pulls it, goes to the edge, he gets it stripped out, and Joe Rose is Johnny on the spot. That's 2 big plays in that drive he made.
And a great look at it from there. Joe Rose, this kid can play. But a great job, really, from Aiden Fitzpatrick, because it looked like Rose, he was the last man to beat. That would have been 6 points the other way. So now ideal starting field position for the Pioneers. They'll get at the 46-yard line. Back to pass, looking to take a shot. First down. Damian Fortson, the leading receiver. And a beautifully thrown ball from David Berniker. How about that for the first play?
How about Berniker? A lot of time. What a call. What a call by Casey. Casey that time. Longo comes out. He goes for the big strike. Right after a turnover, he airs it out. Fortson goes and gets it, and Berniker put it where only he could get it, and he was able to make a nice catch.
And decent coverage from Aiden Fitzpatrick, but just a fabulous play from a fabulous athlete, Damian Fortson. And as you said, Berniker put it right on the money. This time, Berniker hands the football off. Not a ton of running room up the middle. Drew Caswell stopped in his tracks. So let's take a look at this young man. 6 foot, 175 pound senior David Berniker wears number 3, and they absolutely love this kid here at East Grand Rapids. 289 yards through the air, and look at what they say about him earlier. Great leader, stage never too big for him. Coaches have a lot of confidence in him. He has a lot of confidence in himself as well.
Yeah, and Johnny, that goes a long way with your teammates.
The Berniker now on 2nd and 7. They did pick up 3 yards on the Drew Caswell carry. This time, fake to Caswell. Berniker, blitz pressure! Brought down by Josh Rao in the backfield.
Well, you want to stop an offense from going deep, you bring pressure. And Josh Rao does exactly that. Just see his quickness off the line of scrimmage, and then he's just makes a beeline for the quarterback, hog ties David Berniker, and that's a huge play. That puts East GR into a situation no one wants to be. That's 3rd and very long. Now, if you're Lowell, Johnny, you got to be thinking here. Some type of trick play or maybe a screen. They're going to try to let you drop and try to get underneath your coverage.
That's exactly right. They want to be aggressive, want to be physical. But again, watch out for the screen. Josh Rao now with 5 sacks on the season for the Red Arrows. Here we go. 3rd and 20. Berniker sends Fortson in motion. They're going to hand it off. Caswell. And brought down at the 31-yard line. So now brings up a question. Again, he got a big leg here. What do you think?
He does. He does, John. Nick Collins has a great leg. We were watching him kick extra points, and it was going out of the stadium, over the track, and over the concession stand in pregame. So he has a huge leg. Oh, my Lord. Now, are they going to pooch this possibly? Maybe it could be a direct snap, because this is going to be a
season long. Yeah, season long is 43, so this will be a new season long.
This is how you get college scholarships as a kicker right here.
Nick Collins blocked and scooped up and brought down at the 45-yard line. So look at the Lowell special teams unit bringing pressure on the long field goal try from East Grand Rapids. It has been blow and counter blow here. Lowell going to get the football back after coming up with a big block. Scoreless here late in the first quarter. If you know Rob Rubick, you know he loves wrestling. Let's spin the Rubik's Cube. Rube, what's the keys for tonight?
You know I'm a wrestling slap, as you said, Johnny. I think offensively, you got to shoot early and shoot often. In other words, take some shots down the field. We haven't seen it yet. That last drive kind of stalled, but that was more because of the turnover. Counterattack. Right now, they just got the block kick. Let's see what they do. Let's see if they take the shot downfield. The intangibles have a tank. Every wrestler needs to go into the 3rd period with a tank. This football team's got to win some games in the 4th. They haven't done that this year. Let's see if they can do it today.
Dawson Hune with the hard count. Carson Crace now lined up behind him. They're going to hand it off to Crace. His first touch of the ball game. Fighting for some tough yards near midfield. He's going to get up to the 47-yard line. So the junior running back, Carson Crace, coming in. We saw all Carter Blough early in this one. But again, Carter Blough, a kid who plays both ways. They will spell him a little bit and try to get him a blow on the other side. So Carson Crace getting his first carry of the ball game as Coach Hennigy looks on. Coach Hennigy now in his 3rd season with the Red Arrows. Fitzpatrick in motion. Hand off to Crace. Crace pierces midfield. That's going to move the sticks. Okay, Rubes, we talked about Lowell's keys to victory. How about on the other side of it for East Grand Rapids? What do you got?
Now, let's look at the Pioneers. It's interesting. It's a little bit similar but different. offensively, Pac-Man attack. You got to control the football to keep it out of the hands of your opponents, and they had the offense to do that. Defensively, play like, like it says, like a chef. That means make turnovers. I love turnovers, especially after turnovers.
I know you do.
Yeah, an intangible earmuff, Johnny. It's homecoming. It's hard for a coach to get his team focused. His kids tonight have to focus on the task at hand, and that's Lowell.
Craze. Looks like looked like there might have been a bob on the exchange, but it wasn't. It was just swallowed up right away. So Carson Crace, again, no running room up the middle, but credit that East Grand Rapids defense right in the heart there.
Yeah, well, if you want to stop that fullback dive, the first part of that veer, get penetration. That's what EGR just did. They got it. When Hugh was trying to give the ball inside to Carter Blough, they were right there with him. Almost turned him over that time.
Yeah, Josh Klug in there, the big nose tackle. Could be the final play of the opening quarter. Let's see if Lowell try to get an extra snap in here. And they will. Hugh rolling out of the pocket. Dumping it off in the flat. First down, Red Arrows. How about Will Neely, the senior tight end, working his way into the flat. Caught him on a bit of a surprise there, and that's going to move the chains. We are scoreless at the end of one. Lowell, East Grand Rapids settle in. Quarter 2 coming your way right after this.
What it means to be a part of something special, and nobody can ever take that away. Because there is only one way to do this, boys, and that is the East Grand Rapids Pioneer way. Let's go.
Legend in this area. That was Pete Sturzman, the head coach here at East Grand Rapids, who won 7 titles in 9 years between 2002 and 2009. Current head coach Casey Longo played for Coach Sturzman, coached with him on the sidelines here, and has now taken over the program in that rich tradition. He said he didn't really try to think about replacing Sturzman or filling those shoes, otherwise he never would have taken the job, because that was a big task. But instead he's just trying to continue the tradition here, that rich winning tradition at East Grand Rapids, and he's doing a great job of it. He and the Pioneers obviously looking to get back into the playoff hunt here, but he told us he and Coach Sturzman still in constant contact. They're great friends. They texted as recently as yesterday about this big homecoming game and how the Pioneers can come out on top. Currently, Coach Sturzman coaching at Hope College, Johnny, as he continues a winning tradition there. Yeah,
leading the Flying Dutchman. I'll tell you what, Coach Sturzman, running through a brick wall after one of his pregame or halftime speeches, that's for sure. Yeah, they love him around these parts, no question about it. Josh Rao trying to get to the outside. Hurdles one would-be tackler fighting for extra yardage, and he's out down about the 30-yard line. So Lowell, again, been effective moving the football, primarily doing it on the ground. We did see him take one shot downfield. The connection between Hune and Fitzpatrick on the opening drive of the game, but here trying to go back to the bread and butter, Rubes.
Yeah, Johnny, I didn't think I'm 61. I just tried to run from the field, and I got halfway, and I see Coach Sturzman's in the house. We're going to get a chance to talk to Pete
We're just
later.
talking about him. Bring him up.
I just ran all of 70 yards. I am sweating. Ooh. That could be pretty by the fourth quarter.
Wow. Fighting for some yardage. He's going to pick up the first down, so some tough running.
Well, let's do a little quick recap, partner.
Let's do it.
Lowell really has dominated the time of possession. That's why I talk about stats can be misleading. They've dominated time of possession. They've dominated yardage. They've dominated everything. But the one category that EGR has won is turnovers. So after that long drive, they got nothing because of the turnover. And then they actually moved the ball down the field a little bit. Now, once again, in the deep end, 25 plus heading in. Let's see if they can convert.
Hune going to keep it himself, knocked down right at the line of scrimmage. So great job of pursuit by the Pioneer defense. There's number 22 in on the tackle, Jeremy James, one of the first guys in on it. Jeremy James can play football a little bit here, Rubes.
Oh, absolutely. What I don't like about that by Hune, though, you see how he kind of bubbled? I've never seen a beer run offense where the quarterback bubbles. It's usually you ride the belly, you pull it, and you come flat down the line. That time, Hune, and I don't know if that's predetermined, but looks a little bit different for me.
Eric Bryce, the receiver, down on this side of the screen. They're going to hand it off right up the middle. And a couple of yards there on second down. That's going to bring up third down.
And that play, when you call that second down run as a coach, you say, we're playing 4 downs. Because you don't mind getting 3 yards. Because now on third down, if you get 3 or 4 again, you put yourself in a 4th and short, and that's what this offense is built for. EGR is starting to load up that box, so they're really loading up the middle to take that dive away. Because the offense has been primarily, besides the one pass down the field to Fitzpatrick, it's been primarily getting the ball to Carter Blough, which we talked about in the open they were going to do.
This time they're going to give it to Rao. Rao with the little running room. Got the football in his left hand, fighting for the first down. He's going to get the first down. So inside the 20-yard line, again, you said probably 4-down Terry if they needed to.
Yeah, but watch Carter Blough. He's going to lead outside. Bam! He gets a nice kick-out block. He gets a good Nathias Grady. That's the guy who's going to make the play. You follow your fullback. He hits Nathias Grady, and then Rao lowers the shoulder pad a little bit and gets the first down.
Yeah, we mentioned it earlier. Rao primarily running from the slot receiver earlier in the year, but they wanted to implement him more in the I formation to get him touches. Again, Rao, the deep back here in this one. This time, they give it to Blough. Blough down near the 10-yard line. So again, they continue to pound.
And that time, a really nice job by Bryson Vandermeulen and also Easton Rich. The right side of the line. Look at the wedge. Go next level. That's a nice job by that big offensive lineman. Getting to the next level, getting on that linebacker. That's why they got 7 or 8 on that play, Johnny. They got to the backer. If they don't get to the backer, they're getting 2 or 3.
Nathias Grady, one of the men in on the stops. It's going to bring up 2nd and 4. Handoff. Rao cutting back to the inside. Rao still on his feet near the goal line. Is he in? They're going to mark him down at the 1-yard line. So Josh Rao continuing to lower the shoulder. Leans forward. That's going to set him up in prime position.
Once again, a good job. This one goes off tackle, a little bit wider. When they give it to Blough inside, here it comes. We're going to see just ISO.
Rao walks into the end zone. And it is Lowell coming up with the first points of the football game after a heck of a drive.
And how about the tempo they've started to create? Going faster, your offensive line leaning on that defensive line. You're creating tempo, you're pounding them with 2 big backs, a little 1-2 punch with Blough and Rao. And just good job outside. And they're once again leading the way. His buddy, Carter Blough, sets up Josh Rao.
Yeah, just leaned into Nick Collins at that point. And the extra point is through, so hey, they've said they've been getting better up front as the year has progressed. They wanted to work on their footwork with that offensive line. It is a good job of it. The offensive line is working early on for Lowell. Red Arrows lead it 7-0 here in the second. You see the tackle made. And number 9, Connor Lixie, looked like he was a little ginger getting up. And he's still limping just a bit. Lixie will stay in the football games. Want to welcome everybody back in. Again, apologize for any technical difficulties you may have been experiencing over the last couple minutes. So Lixie's going to check out of the football game. And they're going to bring in Nate Cleaver, the senior, at that strong safety spot. So we'll keep an eye on that.
Well,
3rd and 7.
They're going to spread this defense out. They're going to even look 2 by 2, which means you have a very light box. Only really 5 in the middle. Linebackers are widening.
Caswell rolling to his left. Looking down to the edge. Incomplete. It's going to bring up 4th down. And the aforementioned Nate Cleaver in on the coverage.
Well, and that's tough because that was a good throw that time by Caswell. Now, I thought he could run for it as well. A good break on the ball, as you pointed out, by Vandervest.
Yeah, Cole Vandervest, my mistake.
And Callahan just could not hang on to it. That's a well-thrown football. That shows confidence. You're a quarterback. You see open field ahead of you, but you have a receiver open as well, and you chose to throw it. That shows that you really have confidence in your arm. And also as a receiver, I know Vandervest would like to have that one, or rather Callahan would like to have that one back.
Nick Collins back to punt the football away. No, he's going to keep it himself. Up near the first down sticks. I don't think he got there, Roos.
He's going to be a couple yards short.
That is going to be a yard shy.
That is a read. And that's put in the game. You tell your quarterback, rugby style. If you think you got it, you go. If you don't think, then you just punt it rugby style. I've seen that a lot in the last few years. And how about Lowell reading and reacting? Guess who? Number 3, Carter Blough. It's the Carter Blough hour.
So how about
He's
that?
A lot of plays.
Really all over the football field. We knew he would. Again, not a terrible read by Nick Collins. He just came a yard shy, but a little riverboat gambling there.
Yeah, it could be costly. Obviously, if you give up some points here. But I think you trust Nick Collins. Coach spoke highly of him. We talked to Casey Longo. Of all his players, I think he spoke as much about Nick Collins as anyone. He said he's just going to be a phenomenal player. He's getting better every practice, and that's a lot of trust in your punter.
But Hune back on with a 7-0 lead. They're going to hand the football off again, right up the middle. Another chunk, about 4 yards on first down. Carson Crace in the ball carrier.
That they're doing right now, this is called give the big dog a blow. Give Blough a blow. Because he's playing both ways, carried the ball probably 10, 12 times already, playing defense every play. On special teams, if you saw him stop the punt, so you bring Crace in at fullback, and you still leave Rao at tail.
This time it will be Rao. Rao trying to sneaks his way up. Instead of bouncing outside, cut it back up inside, and that's going to bring up 3rd and manageable. We'll call it 3rd and 3.
This is just a zone scheme. You're going to see a fullback lead. Rao's going to be the tailback. He's the second one. They're going to run Crace up in there. The offensive line's all going to step to the right, and he just stretches it out. When he finds a crease, he hits the crease, puts the foot in the ground like they say planting a tent stake, and then cut up. A nice gain, set up a manageable 3rd and 3. I think this is 4-down territory if you're Lowell. You might bring number 3 back in the game if you go 4-down 4th.
Hune. Inside handoff again, and Crace right at the first down sticks, and they're going to give it to him. So, again, continuing to move the chains, and they're doing it the way they want to do it, and that is by putting the football into the basket of their fullback.
Whether it's Carter, Blough, or if it's Carson Crace, they're having success. And I think if you're East Grand Rapids, the Pioneers have to believe that they have them. That time it looked like they had them bottled up, and they just kind of let them go and allowed them to pick up 3 or 4 more yards. So they need to stop. They need to get a negative play or get a TFL here to put Lowell behind the stakes.
Rao around the right side and knocked out of bounds by number 14.
It's a good offensive scheme. You're just pounding in the middle, pounding in the middle, pounding in the middle. And then it's not like a toss. It's not a jet you run into the edge. It kind of looks similar, but you go to the tailback who starts at the off tackle, and then he bounces it, kind of stair-steps it to the edge, and he has a lead blocker outside, and he's doing a good job of getting nice yards.
Kyle Grant, the Pioneer, in on the stop. It's going to bring up 2nd and 4. Hune. Handoff to Crace. Not much room. And what did they expect? They knew they were going to continue to move forward. They want to eat clock, plain and simple, and that's exactly what Lowell is doing. How about the Red Arrows? We told you a little bit about the nickname, where that came from. Playing in the OK Conference White State Championships. How about 3 of them? 02, 04, and 09. 3rd and 4. Ball at the 31-yard line. And Crace leaning past the 30, down at about the 29-yard line. It's going to bring up 4th and 1. Four-down territory, absolutely.
They're leaving Carter Blough. He's kind of stalking over there like a caged lion on the sideline. They're going with Crace and Rao.
Stick with it. Big play for the East Grand Rapids defense. And it looked like they got him to jump. They got it the easy way. Looked like a hard snap. Might have gotten Luke Sipple, number 78, to jump.
That's tough. Dawson Hune just did a wonderful job as a quarterback. A hard count, a little bit of a head bob, not too much to get called. But his offensive line, this is where you tell them, we are not snapping it. We are not snapping it. They got the jump. Linemen don't even get out of their stance. Some of them stay down in there. For look how long they stay in there. They're still down. They might have just stayed at line for the next play.
So that's going to bring up first down. Ball at the 24-yard line. Again, a hard count from Hune. And now the Red Arrows in the driver's seat already with a 1-touchdown advantage. Just bleeding clock. Hune, little miscommunication there. Was looking for his fullback. Had to keep it himself and just leaned forward. Picked up a yard. fortunate to get back to the line of scrimmage. Again, maybe a little miscommunication. Coach Hennigy barking a few signals out there.
Well, Hune's not going to truck many people. He's 150 pounds. You know, Johnny, you look yacked
What
up
do you
compared
say?
to him. I said my lunch was a little bit bigger than he was. I ate a lot. And but he is very deceptive with the ball, and he manages his offense fine.
Grace picking up a couple of tough yards right up the middle. Nothing fancy about it, but this is exactly what they do.
I do Eastern Michigan in the MAC. I do radio, and we play Army a lot. And this reminds me of playing Army. You hold it 3-4 yards, and you think, we're doing great. But it's first down. It's first down. It's first down. They just keep the ball, and you're standing on the sidelines. Your offense is just chopping at the bit to get back in, and you just can't get them off the field. It's not pretty, but it's effective.
Now Lowell wants to take a timeout, facing a 3rd and 6. Again, ball's at the 20-yard line, and Lowell going to exhaust its second timeout here of the opening half. Coach Hennigy talking to his troops. We'll bring you the final 3:02 of the first half right after this. Red Arrows out front, a 7-0 lead. They've been leaning heavily on the running back Carter Blough, 2-year starter. They say he's always going, never turns his motor off. Well, he's always going because he also is a state caliber wrestler.
Yeah, he
finished
finished
third last year
at 215. You know why? Because he's got a tank. Guys that keep grinding and going to third, you say they have a tank, and he has a tremendous one. But let's not forget his backup here. It's kind of funny. Is Carson Crace. He finished second at his weight class. Carter finished third. He finished second. So they're representing the wrestling team well. 14 wrestlers altogether on this Red Arrow varsity football team.
Very proud wrestling tradition here. And we'll, as the game progresses, I want to ask you what makes wrestlers so good, and vice versa. Good football players make good wrestlers, and vice versa. As it is 3rd and 6, ball to 20-yard line. Hune keeps it himself. Hune with a little dance down to the 10-yard line. Is going to pick up the first down. So showing a little shiftiness from the quarterback spot.
We talk about it's hard. It's hard to be disciplined when you're a defensive end. When every time they give it, and you see Nick Collins kind of squeeze down, and as Nick Collins comes down, Hune just pulls it. We get another look here. Watch when he rides him. 7 comes down. And oh, there I go. So a nice job reading it by Hune, and then first down. And just every time inside. Oh, and he pulls it. It's just this level for high school kids. It's a tough task.
Great play call out of the timeout as Connor Callahan in on the stop for East Grand Rapids. So 1st and 10. Let's call it 1st and goal. Ball's at the 10-yard line, right up the middle. Blough leaning forward. Down to the 8-yard line, picks up a couple.
You're a weightlifter, right? Yeah, obviously. I know. I mean, I can tell you. I know. You look at you, Johnny. You've obviously been in a weight room. What Carter Blough is doing is he's basically doing squats and bench every play. He's just running into a wall about half a yard past the ball and pushing it about 2 to 3 yards. Sometimes he's getting a little bit more of a hole, but that's just great overall physical strength by that young man.
Inside 2 minutes to play. Handoff, this time Josh Rao lowering the shoulder down to about the 3-yard line. And they keep coming at you. It's not just a 1-2 punch, because as we saw, Hune can get in there and hurt you as well. They got a 1-2-3 punch, and
what we need to understand here, I'm sorry, John, is this could be a 2-score game. We're just going to be under a minute here shortly in the first half already. This feels a lot bigger because EGR, like Lowell, they like to run the football, and that's fine if you're in the front. When you're trailing, it forces you maybe out of character a little bit. I know Casey Long would like to establish that run game, but ultimately, Johnny, you have to start putting the ball up with a minute 19 left. Coach Hennigy and the Lowell Red Arrows seem to be making all the right calls here so far.
Hey, high school football fans, join us again next week as Football Fridays continue here on Bally Sports. We're going to stay on the west side of the state. 2 currently undefeated teams going head-to-head. The Rockford Rams hosting the Fighting Scots of Caledonia. Kickoff at 7 o'clock from Rockford's newly rededicated Carlson Munger Stadium. It's on your home for high school football. It's Bally Sports.
What do you think
That'd
about
be a heck of a football game.
Yeah, what do you think about that Rockford being #1 in the state, huh? Giving the west side a lot of love.
You don't agree with it?
No, I don't. I really don't. I know Ahern's a really good quarterback, and they made a run last year until Davison thumped him. So I don't know. The West Side this year has been a little bit not sketchy, but just it's hard to tell who the cream is.
Well, we'll get a first-hand look at him next weekend. 3rd and 3. Handoff. Rao plowing forward. Is he in? He's in. Josh Rao with the rushing touchdown again. They continue to come at you. Rob Rubick just punch him right in the mouth, and they're an extra point away from going up 14-0.
It's a threefold run attack. You pound a fullback, you pound a fullback, you pound, and use the big fullback as a lead blocker to ISO, and look him just get on Grady, the linebacker, straighten him up, and Rao just goes right off Carter Blough's tail. Now, I'm not just saying it's a two-man show because I'm going to get to some of these big fellas in a minute. Kick goes through, Johnny, but you look at, up front, you got Easton Rich, Vandermeulen, Post, Willard, and George all doing a great job, Johnny. I'm going to let you take us to break.
Rao, they say want to get their best athletes getting more touches. They're doing that right now. Lowell in control here in the first half.
Our hard-working crew at Bally Sports spent some time on the west side of the state to bring you a big event here in Grand Rapids. It's called Artprize, and it turns Grand Rapids into a glorified art gallery. We're going to show you how Lowell's high school got involved in a project for the community. That's a story you don't want to miss, and it's coming up at halftime of the Lowell East Grand Rapids game that you are watching now. A good one so far through the first half. Johnny, as we send it back up to you.
Well, appreciate it, Trev. Rubes was asking me if I lift weights.
Well,
Trev.
Well, Trevor, he's yacked up. Can you believe how old Smiley is? 54.
Does he want?
I'm like
just sharing that.
Oh my Lord! Who, Trevor? He's 54. Look at him. He looks like he's 30. He still skates, and after he blew his ankle, his knee, and his hip, he still skates.
Hey, Trev, you got anything?
How did I figure into all of this? You know what? I mean, come on, guys.
You're 54.
Hey, leave
Trevor,
me out of it.
You look 30. You should be proud of it.
About the only weights I'm lifting right now are the dinner plate. You really had a close look at me at dinner tonight, Rubes.
If that was true, I'd have huge arms.
Bryce Thompson in to kick it away for Lowell. The deep man, Damian Fortson. He'll get a chance to return it. Picks it up about the 8-yard line. Fortson looking for a seam. Got blown up at the 32-yard line. I'm telling you, he got rocked on special teams. Carson Crace. But a nice return for East Grand Rapids with some time to do something here. 1:09 left here in the second quarter.
This might be a good test for them in their passing game. Getting a 2-minute drill and see what David Berniker can do here in this situation. He's got some receivers. He's got Callahan and Fortson. He's got some speed outside. Also Masick, and one we haven't heard from is the big tight end, Oscar Osborne, number 88.
Yeah, they got some good playmakers on the outside. And now, if you're Coach Longo, you look at it with 1:09 on the clock. You want to be smart about it for sure, but you've got 2 timeouts left. You got the football at the, the 34-yard line?
And let's say you throw 3 incompletes. It's not like Lowell has a quick strike offense, so they're not going to have time to come back.
Looked like a quick snap there. I don't think David Berniker was ready for the snap.
If you snap it too quick, it's not a penalty. Let's see what they're going to call here. If he double clutched the ball, that is a penalty.
False start. Yeah, they're going to say false start on that one, so that's going to back him up 5 yards.
Coach Longo, obviously not too happy what has transpired here so far in the first half, but that's why they have halftime. Make some corrections, talk to your kids, build them back up. Yeah, maybe he comes out and says, we're putting 9 in the box, and we're going to dare you to throw the ball and play man outside. But you can't continue to just let them crush you with that inside running game 3-4 yards at a time because you need to get that ball back offensively.
Well, they want to run the football tonight. We know that. And obviously, there's still a lot of game left. They can get back to doing that. But at this particular junction in the game, probably going to need to air it out a little bit. Instead, they keep it on the ground. Drew Caswell, good stable of running backs they have. He had the hot hand last week. They let him be the bell cow. So on first down, they give it to Caswell. Clock continues to run. Make it 2nd and 13, ball placed at the 30-yard line. So now they go with a 4-receiver set. Berniker from shotgun. First looking underneath, comes back across the middle. Fortson with running room. Down inside the 50-yard line. Will they burn a timeout here? That they will. So how about that? Damian Fortson from the wideout spout crossing right at in front of him. And Bernicker put it right on the money.
Well, this is a nice play call. It develops slowly, which you want, because you want your receivers to take them down the field, clear out the defensive backs, and they just hit Fortson on a little middle screen coming from the slot position. He goes vertical, but Krieger does a nice job. 21. If he doesn't turn and come off that block and come straight back, and it helped that Fortson was really reversing his field coming back into him, that could have went. Fortson has nice quicks, very slithery, kind of a slasher type. Krieger gets him now 33 seconds. Big leg, remember now. Got a big leg.
I want you to look at this. I want you to look at number 7. Look at Josh Rao. He puts it right in his basket. Drives him into the ground. Threw it off his back foot.
Yeah, and that was a nice job. And it's one of those plays as a quarterback you like but you hate, because they tell you, hang on long as you can, and that lets the big fellas kind of start licking their chops because they're going to get a shot on you, as we saw right there as Rao ends up planting him in the ground. But that young man deserves a lot of credit. David Bernicker stood his ground and made a nice play. Also, remember, Nick Collins, the kicker, has a big leg.
I know they're thinking about 6 points if they can get it. Bernicker with time, airing it out, looking on the outside. Got his intended receiver, couldn't hang on at the 15-yard line, and looks to be injured.
Was it Ian Masick?
It was.
5?
Thought Masick had it for a second, but now it looks like hanging on to the
one of those that
top
looks,
of his
and this
right
is
arm.
you know what? This is another well-thrown ball by Bernicker. This gives East Grand Rapids, if you're a fan, it gives you hope for the second half, because you feel we can throw the ball against this Lowell team. They've gotten behind him a few times. It looks like he almost had
like
he lands on the ball.
That looks like shoulder. All right, so 2nd and 10 now, 27 seconds remaining. But you bring up a great point, Rubes. They're obviously showing that they have a little something working on the outside when they do stretch it vertically. Bernicker, pressure coming now, drops the screen off. Fortson down to the 40-yard line. Going to have to burn a timeout. They do. That'll be their last of the first half.
Well, this one it's the same screen, except they ran it from the other side. The difference is this was a little bit quicker. And by doing it quicker, it shows the defense they're able to read it and then close on the ball. Close on the ball, doing a better job of coming up from the secondary. Well, let's watch. He's going to come left to right. Waiting, throws it. And you can see Crace waiting. A good job coming in. And also a nice job, that's Gus McDonald coming from his defensive tackle spot and reading it. Like when those defenses are, oh, this is a screen. I think I just saw this. I'm going to peel back and get in on the action behind me.
Well, one thing Lowell wanted to do, they wanted to try to, get Bernicker out of the pocket. They didn't want him, on his throwing platform. They want to make him uncomfortable a little bit. But again, if he's able to hold on to the ball long enough and wait for those screens to develop, that's where they can gash you and get big yardage. But now you're fighting clock.
Yeah.
And now you got to maybe look to the outside to maximize the time on the drive.
Well, I still think, because remember in high school, Johnny, they're going to stop the clock and they get a first down. I'm looking for that 10 to 15-yard spot, and I'll attack the middle of the field yet. You don't have to get out of bounds. You attack the middle, you get a 10 or 15-yarder, come up and spike the ball. That'll give you 1 or 2 throws into the end zone, and then you're still in field goal range if you don't get it.
Bernicker from the shotgun. Drew Caswell lined up behind him. 3 receivers to the top of the screen. Ian Masick down here underneath. Bernicker comes out of the pocket, going to get out of bounds at the 25-yard line.
It's going to be a blindside hit, yeah.
And it looks like Masick's going to get flagged. You called it, Rubes.
Yeah. It wasn't vicious. It's a football play. But it's a rule that they put in a few years ago, and that's clearly a violation of the rule, because as you're going to watch here, Carter Blough, number 3, after Bernicker takes off, and he gets knocked down, he's going to come into the picture, and he does not see, it's almost a clip, he does not see Ian Masick hit him. Now this isn't real speed. Bernicker makes a right call. I love it. Nothing open, take off, run, get out of bounds, stop the clock, maybe get a field goal attempt. It's just, and that's tough on Mason. Man, the kid is
It's a good football play.
Playing hard, trying to get a block. You coach your kids, get a block. Go to the whistle. He goes to the whistle. It's just the angle was poor.
We have a dead ball, personal foul.
So that's going to be
on the offense. The play resulted in a first down. We'll have 15 yards. It'll be 1st and 10 from the new stop.
All right, so there you go. They're going to give him the first down.
First and
but they're
10.
gonna back
First
it
and
up
10.
15
First and
yards
10.
after the personal foul penalty. You see Coach Longo there again. As disappointed you are, you're not necessarily disappointed in the player, you're just disappointed in how close it was to the sideline.
All right, Johnny, now there's no question. You have to throw to the sticks. You can't throw short. If you get tackled short, it's halftime. So you have to tell your receivers and quarterback, it's got to be at least 10 yards down the field. Then if you catch it, you can stop the clock, spike it, and get a field goal attempt. But you can't throw something short or run it here.
Berniker. They bring pressure with 3. Berniker stepping up. He's going to be brought down by the Lowell defense, and that's going to do it for the first half. Tremendous defensive effort from Lowell. You saw Bryce Balabuck, a big nose tackle coming in, and that will do it. So again, they brought a little bit of pressure. Didn't sell out, didn't bring a blitz necessarily, but they got pressure.
Yeah, they were able to get pressure
brought.
with 4, Johnny, and that's nice because you cover with 7. You cover up all the holes down the field. Don't let them get over behind you, and you converge if it's thrown in front, and they were able to get a leg on them, get them for just a short gain, and way too far out of field position. It didn't matter. They couldn't stop the clock. We're going to get a chance to talk to Jacob Henneke, the head coach of Lowell here, and Trevor's going to have him. And Trevor, coach has got to be pleased.
You would think so, Rubes. Coach, they were just talking about you've got to be pleased. You're on the road. It's homecoming night in their stadium. You're up 14. How close to execution were you on the game plan coming in?
We're playing physical football. Besides the one turnover, it went the way we wanted the half to go. So we got to continue to be mistake-free and continue to run the ball like we did in the first half.
And we talked to you about Josh Rao before the game, twisted his ankle here in a warm-up, but look, none the worse for wear in that first half. How special was he, and how good do you feel for him being able to contribute?
My heart dropped there for a second. He's a senior, 3-year varsity kid, and you just want him to have that opportunity to play football in a big game like this his senior year.
And I know it's not lost on you. You're up against a school with a lot of tradition. They're going to come out in the second half. What will be the keys for you?
We have to finish. We had to finish. Last week we were in the same scenario. We were up 2 to 3 scores, and we didn't finish. So we got to finish this game.
Thanks for this, and good luck in the second half, Coach.
Thank you.
All
Appreciate it.
Johnny, let's go back up to you.
Well, you heard him talking about it last week. They were up 21-0 heading into the fourth. East Grand Rapids defense with a big play early on. Joe Rose with the fumble recovery, but EGR unable to turn it into points. But Josh Rao, look at him lowering the shoulder, leaning forward. Lowell Red Arrows with a 2-touchdown advantage here at East Grand Rapids High School.
Welcome back to Memorial Field here in East Grand Rapids as the Lowell Red Arrows have a 14-0 lead over the Pioneers of East Grand Rapids. It's homecoming night here in East Grand Rapids, and the mighty marching band, the Pioneers, are playing. Let's have a listen to what they are providing tonight. Very talented group.
Our marcher features a drum solo performed by our very own drum line. Here's All Along the Watchtower.
The third track is a song by American industrial rock band 9 Inch Nails, released as the lead single from their fourth studio album, With Teeth, in 2005. Our version of this song includes some special guest reinforcements from both East Grand Rapids 8th grade band members, as well as members of our very own EGR band alum. And it includes the 2021 Boogie Down. The Boogie Down is now a tradition at each of our marching shows, and it originated in 1984. Here's The Hand That Feeds.
Grand Rapids High School Marching Band entertaining the masses here at homecoming night in East Grand Rapids. We're coming back with more on how Lowell is getting involved in Artprize in downtown Grand Rapids. Fantastic story. It's coming your way next here on Bally Sports. It's homecoming night here in East Grand Rapids, and the marching band plays on behind me. It's a big weekend in the city of Grand Rapids. Not only this football game going on this weekend, but an annual event called Artprize is taking place in downtown Grand Rapids. It turns Grand Rapids into a glorified art museum all throughout the city. Works of art from artists all across the globe, from all genres, are on display. And this year, for the very first time, a group from Lowell High School combined art and football to help bring the community together during these very challenging and divisive times. Brooke Fletcher has more on that story.
Will you share your dream?
Yeah, my dream was just for better times ahead.
My personal goal was just to be able to travel more.
I was hoping to be just a little bit less selfish.
Try to recognize each person for who they are, try to figure out where they're coming from. This past year, I know for so many people was pretty hard. And at the end of the year, I actually went up to my principal. I was like, there's an opportunity for an Artprize entry. I know for myself, and I know for other people, we need something to look forward to. How about we enter?
Artprize seems to be a big deal around here, so can you tell me a little bit about it?
Yeah, so I don't know when it started, but as long as I remember, it's just kind of like this cool thing they do in like downtown Grand Rapids where there's like a bunch of art installations like throughout downtown. Like obviously I've always had like a passion for art, both appreciating it and attempting to do it myself. So it was really cool. I thought that'd be something like really cool for us to do as a community, especially when she told us what it was, because it would be so like community wide and then community involving.
How do we bring together a community that's divided after a pandemic? How do we make people feel like they're part of something that's bigger than themselves again? In 2008, Noel Dean, he was a football coach. He started what's called Pink Arrow, and Pink Arrow is this amazing event where thousands of people in the community come to support to fight cancer. We took that as like the medium, the t-shirts, pink t-shirts from that, and utilize that as our material.
We cut them up, had everyone in the community write down their hopes and dreams on the strips, and then a student from each class or from different organizations wove them together in an Amish knot, and then we tied all of those together to create a giant tapestry.
Inaugural game is probably like the biggest game of the year. We actually had a really big turnout this year, which was awesome. But then to see that it gets to turn into like a huge community thing also, like how we got to put the tapestry up, it's just like, it's awesome to see that everybody in the community gets to like have a voice and show what they believe in. A small community can make a big thing, basically. We got to put something in Artprize that everybody in our community got to take part in.
I just feel so grateful that I got to be a part of it. We've been through a really hard year, like everybody, and just, you know, I hope they walk away with like a sense of like, you know, if we just stick together, focus on our hopes and our dreams, you know, look at our similarities a bit more. I think really just powerful to see.
We had over 600 t-shirts donated, 4,000 dreams, individual dreams. And I really think people see the pink t-shirts and right away they think this is something good and I want to be a part of it. I had kids comment like, that's my dream. And oh, that's my class. And can you find your dream in there? So they felt ownership. And to have kids feel successful, to feel ownership, and to create meaningful connection is you know why most of us are in education.
Lowell submission and all the Artprize submissions will be on display in downtown Grand Rapids for the rest of the weekend. And once it's over, that tapestry will go on auction and the proceeds will go to charities that promote diversity and inclusion. That was a great story, Brooke. And right now, Lowell has a 14-0 lead over the homecoming crew from East Grand Rapids. We'll be back with more at the half here on Bally Sports. Stick around. We've still got another half of football coming your way here on Bally Sports. Here in East Grand Rapids, the Lowell Red Arrows have a 14-0 lead over the East Grand Rapids Pioneers here this evening. And all throughout October on Football Friday nights here on Bally Sports, we've got beautiful matchups for you, starting again next week in Rockford. And then it's off to Frankenmuth on the 15th. And then River Rouge is closer to downtown Detroit on October the 22nd. And then we wrap up our October coverage on the 29th with the first round of playoffs, week 1 to be announced. All of those games are starting at 7 o'clock only on Bally Sports and the Bally Sports app. When we come back, second half action between the Pioneers and the Red Arrows coming your way on this Friday night.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Lowell with a 14-0 halftime lead. Hey, hockey is back. Drop the puck. Red Wings preseason has begun, and Bally Sports will bring you all the action starting tomorrow night as Detroit takes on the Columbus Blue Jackets at Little Caesars Arena. Puck drops at 7 o'clock on Bally Sports Detroit Plus. And we have spirit. Yes, we do. We have spirit. How about you, Rob? Pep rally earlier today here at
I thought I saw you
Rapids.
there. Because you told me you were getting here at 2. I didn't know why you weren't at the pep rally.
Well, yeah, they needed somebody to lead the cheers. Also, you know, the 4th annual Legacy Senior All-Star Game is going to be hosted this upcoming November 28th. That'll be in Brighton at the Legacy Center Sports Complex. The event, once again, will be televised on Bally Sports Detroit. 80 of Michigan's best graduating seniors from across the state are going to strap the helmet on for one final time and showcase their skills for a statewide audience. Nominations are open. They'll be taken online at legacyfootballorg.com. All you got to do is click on the homepage, then click on the nomination link, and selection will be announced in early November. That'll always be fun.
Yeah, it's, you know what it is? It's a chance for maybe the kids aren't getting a D1 or maybe even a D2 scholarship, an opportunity to highlight their skills late in the recruiting process.
Yeah, you can see the website information right there at the bottom of the screen. So you see the students still getting after it a little bit. You know pep rally started a lot earlier.
Much bigger crowd. I was just down there, Johnny, and it's a good-looking crowd, and we have a good-looking game, and see if the Pioneers can come back 14-0.
Welcome back to East Grand Rapids High School, where the Pioneers are down 14-0 to the Lowell Red Arrows. Coach, what was your message to your guys at halftime?
Continue to fight. We've got to score. Obviously, defense, we've got to get off the field on third down. We're playing well. We're making them work for it. They just completed a couple third down passes there and got a couple big third down runs.
Obviously, you're energized by your crowd here on homecoming night. How much of a push can that give your guys here in the second half especially?
Our kids don't give up. They'll fight. We're getting the ball here. We've got to put together a drive, obviously, and with some and with some points. But yeah, our kids will never give up. They're going to fight all the way to the end here.
What's the number one thing you did like about your first half that you'll need to see carry over into the second to come out successful here in the end?
Yeah, like I said, on defense, we made them work, obviously. They weren't just getting big chunk plays, but third down, we got to get them off when we get on third down there. We had the penalty on 4th and short there. We just can't beat ourselves here. We've got to make them earn it.
Coach, we appreciate the time and good luck in the second half.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Johnny, there you go. Back up to you.
Coach Casey Longo, keep your head on a swivel, stick on the ice. Okay, first half. Remember this.
Look at Joe Rose. He's going to little scoop and almost a score. Good effort getting him down. We're going to get another look at it here.
Fitzpatrick ended up bringing him down, saved the touchdown. That could have been a big swing in this game. Look at Fitzpatrick tracking him, just reaching out, corralling him.
Well, then you see the next play also made this one against EGR. A nice block on that play that time, getting penetration. Nick Collins gets his kick blocked, and then this is the first of 2 touchdowns by Rao. Following his big buddy there, Carter Blough. Josh Rao is even taking it in the end zone, and that's really the difference here. Is just the physicality, I think, of the backs. Not necessarily the offense against the defensive line, but the running backs of Lowell have just been a little bit too much to handle. And as Coach Casey Longo pointed out, no chunk plays. They're earning it, but they are earning it. Look at the rushing yards, 153 total yards. And what I'm not privy to here is, I don't know if we had that somewhere. How many carries to get that 150? I bet you it's got to be 20-plus carries.
Oh, no question.
25. So they're not getting, they're getting maybe 3 to 4 yards a carry, but they're going for it on 3rd and 4th down, moving the sticks.
Yeah, and dominating time of possession as well. So still a lot of football left to be played here. East Grand Rapids is going to get the football first, and there's Coach Longo one more time. So they want to run the ball. The strength of their team is their offensive line. Look, you have 24 minutes left to play here, so I think they want to go back, do what they're doing, see if they can stick with what got them here.
No panic. No panic. You don't have to just start whipping the ball around. You still want to establish your run game.
Fortson in the return game has shown some flashes here early on. This time swallowed up at the 25-yard line. So good job by the special teams unit for the Lowell Red Arrows. Jordan Akala in on the stop for the Red Arrows. So let's take a look at some of the impact players for East Grand Rapids. Again, good athletes. They have a good stable of running backs. And certainly they have some playmakers on the outside as well. And some big boys up front. Of course, Josh Klug, one of the leaders up front. Robbie Kowaleski from the left tackle position as well. Jack Berkey, another good ball player for him. And again, out on the outside, we haven't said much about him yet. Connor Callahan, and of course the tight end, Oscar Osborne. Look for those guys to make an impact here in the second half. So they go trips receivers.
Yeah, already a different look, coming out with more of a spread set.
And they're going to keep it on the ground with Berniker, so spread everybody out. Little quarterback keeper to get it started.
Well, they have to do something. They didn't have the amount of plays either that Lowell was able to run offensively. So their sample size is quite a bit smaller to see what was successful and what wasn't. But they did see at the end of the half when they started to throw the ball with that spread look. It was a soft box. So they come out, they give you that spread look like they're going to throw, and they run it inside.
David Berniker.
No one in the middle. No one in the middle of the field at all. If you could pop through here.
Got Matthias Grady lined up to the right of him. So another different look. First time we've seen Grady in the backfield alongside Berniker. Again, the 3 receivers up top continue to bark out signals. And again, miscommunication on the snap count.
We saw the double clutch early on by Hayden Bentley. That time we saw that I did snap it when everyone else left.
Ball start on the offense. 5 yards. Second down.
You get a good play on first down. You get 4 or 5 yards. You're ahead of the sticks. And then you get the penalty. Now you're behind the sticks. Now you're 2nd and 11.
And, of course, remember earlier in this game when they had a good drive going, had the personal foul penalty against Ian
that's
Mason.
Right. That
knocked
was a
him out
huge
of,
penalty.
Definitely out of field goal range, but unable to come away with any points here thus far. So see if they can get it locked in. Be now 2nd and 11 after the 5-yard penalty has been assessed. Berniker going to keep it himself again. Nowhere to go. right up the middle. Nice job by that defense. Nolan Jan.
Yeah, we call it Big Jan. That's Janinga. Does a good job of getting in there and just swallowing that play. So this Lowell defense has been pretty stout. Now you dictate as a defense. You put the offense in the 3rd down and 11. Defensively, as a DC here, you can decide, do I want to bring pressure? Do I want to just rush 3, play coverage? You have the options in your playbook to call defensively. The offense is limited right here to probably having to air the ball out.
Oh, Big Jan, Nolan Janiga. Good football player for Lowell. First time we've had a chance to call his name tonight. So now 3rd and long. Berniker gets the signal. Bringing a little pressure up the middle. Berniker looking for Masick, but just over the outstretched arms. That's going to bring up 4th down and a punting situation for the Pioneers.
Football's a game of inches. You're going to see right here, Berniker does a good job. He looks at the safety, then he comes down the middle of the field, and that's just maybe 6 inches, 10 inches, where Masick can't get his second hand on the ball. He's stretched out here. That's a nice-looking ball. But it's first team, doesn't matter because it's just about a yard too far. So even though it looked pretty coming out of his hand, it wasn't effective, and that's tough. And now it goes back to that penalty, Johnny. You're in a 2nd and 5, 2nd and 6. You got your whole running game into play. Now you get that penalty, and it puts you behind.
Collins, again, that rugby style, this time does boot it away. He's going to kick it way out of bounds. We're going to see where they mark it. And that thing flew out. Yeah, they're going to come in, and that's going to be closer to midfield. Look at Lowell. We talked about running the gauntlet early in the season. Of course, you open against Mona Shores. We know exactly what they can do.
Yeah, and Caledonia, we're going to see them next week, I believe, against Rockford. Is that?
Yep.
But here's the one, the Grand Rapids Christian. They had a 20-0 lead in that game.
Yeah,
20-0 and lose 21-20 to Christian. And that just shows if you're East Grand Rapids and you're Coach Casey Longo, I'm sure he pointed out to his troops at halftime, listen, this team was up 20-0 last week. They
heading into the 4th quarter.
Into the 4th quarter, and they gave it up. Now, Christian throws the ball around. They're a team that usually can whip it around a little bit more than East Grand Rapids does, but it gives you hope that you can somehow get a stop here and put that offense back on the field because they were close in that last series to a couple really good plays.
Yeah, just got to clean up the penalties. And what does Lowell do? Josh Rao trying to fight for yardage. They just keep going back to what got him here. They see number 2, Dawson Hune, running off to get the next play call in as Rao has the only 2 touchdowns of the football game. Bring up 2nd and 9. You know, that Josh Rao, we talked about him quite a bit. So he's always bouncing around, ton of energy, always has a smile on his face. He'll be smiling tonight as Crace gets the inside handoff this time. So sometimes, you know, we almost have to get that happiness out of him. You know, have him play with a little bit more of an edge, you know, in practice.
Yeah, there's all different ways to approach. I played with guys that were cerebral. I played with Lomas Brown with the Lions, and you'll never meet a nicer human being, and Lomas is just nice, and he played that way. He wasn't like he was dirty and nasty. I played with guys that were dirty and nasty, too.
Yeah.
It works. There's different things that work for different people.
Where'd you fall in line?
I found I was a thinker. I was too tired to try to talk crap. And I didn't do that much to talk crap anyways.
There's Rao on 3rd down. So nice job by the East Grand Rapids defense. I bring up a 4th and 5 here, Thinker.
Yeah, let's watch Brendan Burns do a good job from his linebacker. He's going to scrape outside, and it's able to beat the block of Crace and run underneath it. If you're Crace, you just got to be a little bit more square and able to turn on that, because if he can wheel and get a piece of Burns in that play, it could have been a big yardage game. Instead, Burns limits it to a short game, set up a big 4th down and 5, and I believe this will be the first time we see Lowell punt, or at least line up for a punt.
Yeah, Brendan Burns, the unquestioned leader of that defense. Could this be the momentum swing they needed? There's Hune, and partially blocked here, Rubes. Football is going to land at the 40-yard line, so nice job on special teams by East Grand Rapids. Hune looked like he hesitated for just a second, and then by the time he put it on his foot,
well, here's what I don't understand. Look at freeze it right here. That's 10 yards, 9 yards, and he's going to run up to the right where the pressure is coming from. That makes it so much easier in the defense. We'll get another look here. If he just goes straight ahead with the punt instead of a rugby, because that's where the pressure comes, that ball's off. Instead, Joe Rose gets a piece of it, and now EGR cooking with oil. I'm starting on their own 40-yard line.
Joe Rose. How many times have we said his name here today? 6'4". Reached his big paw out there. So again, ideal starting field position for East Grand Rapids. Still tons of time left here in the third quarter to go back to doing what they want as the officials have a bit of a powwow here. And they're going to say, oh, wait just a second here. And now here comes the flag. Coach Longo's beside himself.
No, see, I don't like this call. I don't like the official. You give him a warning, maybe a warning.
During the kick, we had a block, and then we had a touch by the defense, subsequently recovered by the kicking team, which gives the ball first down. After the play was over, unsportsmanlike on the defense, head coach, 15 yards, first down.
Well, I heard the explanation, and I'm not sure we buy it.
Well, I never knew Lowell recovered the kick.
So there's the touch. Okay, then 79
does.
does fall on it right there. So it was touched.
Touched
by Jeremy James.
After it was blocked.
After the block,
Oh,
right?
okay.
So the initial block, and then it was touched by Jeremy James, okay?
That I would have missed on that rule. I thought you'd have to possess it before the other team could get it, not just put a touch on it.
So what we thought might have been a big swing in momentum, instead, the ball remains with Lowell. We got a false start. So that's huge, Roops. That's huge.
That's new.
They sorted it out. They called it. Officials
Have you
were
ever
right
seen
on
that?
it.
I had
football
40, 50 years ago. I've never
Coach
seen that
Longo's
call.
still looking for the explanation. I think he got an explanation. Maybe not the explanation he was looking for.
The one he wanted.
But that is a bit surprising. I thought there had to be possession as well. Instead, Josh Rao lowering the shoulder inside the 30-yard line. So Lowell in business. Inside 8 minutes to play.
Sorry, Nathias Grady doing a good job really meeting Rao early on. And that penalty, as we saw, happened to East Grand Rapids. Only a 5-yard penalty. But when you're a 3-3-3 type of team for yardage gain in a power run game, all of a sudden now you're at a 2nd and 14. You're looking, you have to either pop a longer run or you're going to have to go to the air sometime in order to get a first down.
Hune this time hands it off to Blough, and absolutely packed there in the middle of the EGR defense. Joe Rose, one of the big guys in there to stuff it from his defensive tackle position. So Carter Blough nowhere to run. That's going to bring up 3rd and 13. Ball's at the 29, and talking with Coach Hennigan before the game, he says maybe we look at right around the 20-yard line would be field goal range.
Let's watch this. Watch the mesh point where the quarterback puts it in the belly of the fullback. Who has it? Who wants it? And you see Hune. It looks like he was trying to pull it, and Carter Blough just takes it from him. He's reading it, and that's when you blow up the mesh point. And I'm trying to get a number there. Just a
I think
great
that was Joe
job.
Rose again, 86.
Was that Joe Rose? Well, you can blow up that mesh point against a Veer team. It really cripples that offense.
Hune back to pass. Hune looking on the outside, almost picked off. Hune was looking on the outside for Connor Lixie, but a great job in coverage. Ryan Reska, the senior defensive back, stepped up. If he would have gotten that one, Rubes, he might have taken it.
Yeah, he would have flipped
71
the field.
yards
I know
the
he
other
went
way.
71, but he went about 40. So he would have probably put it on the plus side of the 50. And I'm surprised because this ball is poorly underthrown.
Look at that.
Because when a defender can just sit back there and wait on the ball like Reska did, that's tough. Now, this is what Lowell does not do well. They're not a 4th and long, 3rd and long team. They're a run-based offense, so see if EGR can create something here.
Hune back to pass. They're bringing pressure. Hune steps up over the middle. Knocked away into the end zone. So Hune, they brought the pressure right away.
That pressure came so quick and so fast. I thought it was a screen. I thought they were letting him in, but that's just a nice job. But look at the pocket presence by Hune. He goes a la Tom Brady there, stepping up, slide a little bit, and then make a throw and give his receiver an opportunity down the field to make a play on it.
Yeah, I was looking for Eric Bryce, looked like.
But Bryce just couldn't get his hands on it. And good job defensively as well. Penalties. Both those last 2 drives, one by EGR,
won by Lowell, stymied because they got a 5-yard penalty. And whoever invented this game, Johnny Kane, and said you got to get 10 yards, they were a genius. Because that 10 yards is hard to get. So they start tacking 5 more on each drive, it becomes really difficult.
You really are a thinker. That's what I like about you, Luke. So East Grand Rapids now with the football again. Can they get something going on this drive? Fake to Matthias. Give it to the outside. Drew Caswell up to the 40-yard line. Nice chunk yardage on first down. That'll move the sticks.
Well, this is a little option here. They get to the edge. They fake the belly, pull it, get to the edge, and Berniker pitches it outside to Caswell. This is really Caswell's best run. You see him ride it, a good job sealing on the edge, kick out, and Caswell just really does a nice job of taking that angle to the sideline, kind of running at a slant away from the defenders, making it longer to get there. As he comes right at you. Oh, this is nice. Isn't that
Make
nice?
room
That's
on
what
the
I had
couch.
in the first
Drew
quarter
Caswell's
when I was on
coming
the
in.
field. I like that.
How about our photographer, Kevin Guralewski, just standing strong. Caswell coming right up on him. 1st and 10, ball to 44.
Oh, tight end C.
Berniker! He's got him. Osborne down to the 30-yard line. First time we've seen Oscar. No, that's Joe Rose.
This is the Joe Rose show. Any big play that EGR's had, it seems like 86 has been involved in it.
Gee whiz.
And I kind of stomped on you, partner. I'm sorry, but as a tight end, I always kind of take a peek. And he took off, and he is wide open down the seam early. He does look away. It comes to him later, and Joe has to slow down a little bit and open up. But nice job turning your hips. I like this. This is what you want to see from tight ends. Loose hips. Can you turn? Can you open to the ball? Are you athletic enough? Some kids start to get tied up when they open up to the ball, but not Joe Rose.
Joe Rose having himself a football game here tonight. Ball down to the 29. Best looking drive so far for East Grand Rapids. Berniker thought about pitching it, kept it himself. Josh Rao in there to swallow him up. Loss of 1.
This is when you have a running back who also plays outside linebacker / defensive end. Rao's going to come from the backside. He runs this down. Number 7 is going to look at him like a missile comes in from the pitcher, respecting nothing. Now, if you're a coach upstairs and you see that, that's when you think maybe we can run some type of counter or reverse back at number 7. If he's going to be that aggressive, coming off the edge, slow him down by some type of counter action.
My trips receivers at the top of the screen.
This 4-down territory, no need to panic. It's just 2nd and 11. There's 3-5.
And Berniker with the hard count this time.
Good discipline. I'll put you back ahead of the sticks there, Johnny.
On the defense. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
All right, that'll move the ball to the 26-yard line. So, we saw the 3 receivers at the top of the screen. I incorrectly gave Oscar Osborne credit on the Joe Rose catch. Osborne will be lined up on the outside. One of the big play targets that they like.
They don't throw Oscar the ball pretty quick. He's going to be a grouch because they haven't targeted him yet this game.
He's coming underneath instead. Ian Masick looks like there was some contact, and here comes the laundry. That'll be pass interference.
You know, that's a call that it's a little bit inadvertent, but you have to call it because it truly does hinder. Probably going to be a catch and possibly a touchdown. It looked like he possibly just got their legs tangled. We're going to maybe, I know we have in the truck, and we're going to look at this down the middle of the field. This is a nice shot of the throw.
Interference on the defense.
It was close. Xavier Young.
Yeah, that's the sophomore. Remember, we've heard Coach talking about before the game. They were taking some chances because there's Young in their secondary. Xavier Young has been one of those guys that other teams have tried to exploit throughout the season because he's such a young player. Young been hanging in there pretty good today. That time did get flagged. Now 1st and 10, ball's at the 13-yard line. This East Grand Rapids crowd starting to get behind the boys a little bit. Matthias Grady now in. Wildcat. Grady inside the 10-yard line. So another new look from the Pioneers.
Well, good for the Gooses, good for the Gander. You see East Grand Rapids come out with a loaded formation. Going to be heavy to the right, overloading that side, and they just give it to the big back, Matthias Grady. And that's a classic Lowell play we've seen in the first half of the 3rd quarter. 4 or 5 yards, physical football, pounding it down in there. This is turning into quite a game here. If EGR can put it in the end zone, we're going to have a 1-possession game as the 3rd quarter winds down.
And again, they're going to keep Matthias Grady in there. Again, it's just a numbers game. Grady cuts back up into the end zone. Touchdown, East Grand Rapids.
It's amazing when you make a defense stay on the field a little bit. They haven't really tested this Lowell defense with any long drives. This time they put together a nice drive, and then they said, you know what, you've been pounding us with your big back, the 215-pound Carter Blough. We're going to throw 220 pounds. We're going to up you by one and bring Matthias Grady, number 4. And I got to believe that you're going to see a lot more of that Wildcat and more of number 4 here as we get into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, get your best playmakers involved. Good snap, good hold, good kick from Nick Collins. It's a one-score game. So Matthias Grady finally getting in on the action on the offensive end here in the second half, and it's paying huge dividends for the Pioneers in the blue and gold. It's a one-touchdown deficit for the home team.
Let's go, boys.
Back at Memorial Field here in Grand Rapids. East Grand Rapids just takes in the end zone to make it a one-possession game, closing it to 14-7. Let's see why. Matthias Grady's going to get the touchdown, number 4, but watch number 22 to his left, the fullback. What a nice job by Jeremy James getting the seal. Kick, drive, stay up, stay on, let the back cut off you. If you can stay on the block, you can have success. Let the running back make the move right, left, or right, push up your back and run you over. I hadn't done it a few times in my day too. But as we saw right there, Joe Rao benefited from Carter Blough leading him in the end zone twice. That time, that young man, Matthias Grady, benefited from his partner and teammate. Is that really? Oh, I thought I was going to say Jesse James. That would not be good. That would be Jeremy James.
Well, how about this? You got to give credit because Casey Longo obviously beside himself after the punt, the partial block on the punt, and Lowell was able to maintain possession, able to get a turnover on downs eventually on that play, get the football back, and to come down and pay it off. So didn't let that moment, dictate the narrative for the rest of that quarter. And now East Grand Rapids assuredly back in this football game. And certainly you got the student section behind it. They still have a little bit of pep after the afternoon rally.
You tell this isn't the UP because there wouldn't be any bare-chested men in the UP this time of year. It's starting to get cold already. Look at that kick. That's a big leg we saw. That's not returnable because it's in the end zone. Well, we just saw Matthias Grady go in, which gives me a lot of flashbacks and brings back some old memories. That young man, Kevin Grady, and look at the records: carries, yards, touchdowns, points. That was a full-grown man to play with boys for most of his career in high school. Look at the legs on him. Looks like a mini Earl Campbell. Mm-hmm. But he had shake, he had power, he could catch the ball out of the backfield. Just a joy to watch. And when you got a guy like that, coaching becomes a lot easier offensively. I think you could have my mom could be the OC when you got a guy like that back there. Hey, what are we going to do? Give it 24 right. How about this play? Well, let's go left. How about this play? Run them up the middle. Good job, Coach.
Thanks, Ma.
Yeah.
Well, they've got good running backs. Again, we saw Drew Caswell got the bulk of the carries in the first half, and then, again, Matthias Grady and Jack Higgins, another talented running back. We haven't seen much of him tonight either, but right now we'll see if they ride the hot hand with Grady. But right now they got to rely on their defense, try to get a stop against Hune and the Red Arrows. Hune goes to the outside.
That was an interesting, I thought it was a busted play. Maybe it wasn't. Hune looked like he wanted to hand the ball off. Yeah. Maybe it was some sort of an RPO. Just the execution was a little bit sketchy, but it could have been an RPO where he went to fake the ball, but the back wasn't there, but he still had the receiver ready to receive the quick flat outside.
This time they're going to keep it on the ground. Carter Blough up near the first down sticks will be about a yard shy, bring up 3rd and 1.
This is where you want to call your grandpa, call your dad, anyone watching this game, say, hey, you want a little time machine, go back about 40 years, 50 years. That's what we're seeing here tonight. Just a bunch of ground and pound, power football, big backs, good offensive line play, physical football. A lot of people say they want to see the spread and 50 points. I like this. This is really good old-fashioned hit-in-the-face football.
3rd and 1. Little bit of movement early. Inside handoff. Blough gets passed into the second level. Now Blough, foot race. Inside the 40-yard line for Carter Blough.
When you run the fullback inside in this offense, You run it 2 yards. You run it 2 yards. You run it 3 yards. But sooner or later, we're going to watch. You see the little jet motion. That's just a little trap, a little belly trap back to the weak side. And then once Carter gets through there, then he kind of goes against the flow back to right, shows that he can run pretty well for a 215-pound man.
Ball down to the 35-yard line now. 1st and 10, Red Arrows. This time, Crace, nowhere to go. No. I think the ball shook loose. Tried to put it, I thought, in the basket of Crace, but
that's that mesh point. EGR's doing a
Hugh
better
held
job.
on to it, yeah.
Hey, let's go back a second with that nice run. It's going to be a little trap coming back to your right. You see the pull, the nice kick, and then look how he bellies back. He goes against the flow, and that really creates opening. And then 215 pounds is okay for the first 20, but then that piano jump gets on your back about the last 20 yards. You can look at Carter and say, okay, that's far enough. Those 3-4 yards aren't bad. That 30-yard gets me tired.
So Blough's going to go to the sideline and get a blow, as we've highlighted. Plays 2 ways, never comes off the field on defense, but they got Carson Crace in there, and Crace is going to keep the football this time inside the 30-yard line.
Well,
Crace is having a pretty good night.
Johnny, that's right where I was going to say. He's good enough where when you take Carter Blough out, you lose a little bit, but you don't lose a lot. And he's sure-handed. He's not going to turn the ball over. If there's 2 or 3 yards there, he's going to get it for you.
3rd and 4. Hune to Crace. Crace leaning forward. 1st down, Red Arrows.
Okay, Johnny, what do Crace and Blough have in common?
They run downhill.
Rustlers. I'm telling you, man, I've been doing these state finals my 30th year coming up. And you talk to the teams that have success, whether it's like a Catholic Central, a Davison, a Lowell. These are teams that have strong wrestling programs, and these wrestlers make tremendous football players because they're very driven and they're tough, and they all have a tank. They don't tire, and they compete so hard.
There's Blough at 215 pounds inside the 15. He's down to the 14.
Both these defenses, these last couple of drives, looks like the offense is wearing on them a little bit. The offense is starting to have their way, and this is what an answer for Lowell. With 1:10 remaining here in the 3rd quarter. After that drive, East Grand Rapids gets resuscitated back in the game. Lowell's going to punch him right back in the mouth here.
Hune keeps it himself. Tries to take it around the outside, picks up a couple of yards. Inside a minute to play here in the 3rd quarter now at Memorial Stadium.
TFL time. If you're EGR, you need to get to that mesh point. Get one of those big defensive tackles up front and get him inside, whether it's Luke Sipple, could be Klug, could be Rose. Somebody's got to get penetration, try to get that mesh point, create a turnover, but at the very least, get a tackle for loss.
Coach Longo looking on. Ball at the 11-yard line. Hune keeps it himself. Popped. Picks up a couple of yards, but that is going to bring up 3rd down.
Quarter if you want it. That's the quarter if you want it.
Do they want it? That's the question.
I would think so. You're winning. You're up by a touchdown. The clock is in your favor right now. You would let it run out sides, give your guys a little bit of a win. But you know what, though? I guess they also had that defense on their heels, gas a little bit, and they give them a little time to rest up.
They will take it to the quarter end. Coach Jacob Hannigy looking on, trying to get his 2nd win of the season. They're playing a tough league. They still got some tough games coming up. And they're in a tough one here tonight against East Grand Rapids, but hoping to go back up by 2 scores on the other side of this break.
Welcome back to East Grand Rapids, and although they are down by 7 as we head to the 4th quarter, they may feel they've got an opportunity to win because all they do is win, win, win here in East Grand Rapids. 142 state titles across their entire athletic program. That is said to be the most in the history of the state of Michigan. Most recently, the boys' swimming team, their lacrosse team, and the girls' lacrosse team were state champions. This is the Hall of Champions down the hallway leading to the football workout room. And as you can see, it is adorned with championship trophies, championship team photos, a whole lot of winning, a whole lot of hardware here in East Grand Rapids, and the tradition rolls on as they continue to build those championships. And look at this. Look at all those titles, you guys. Look at that. Not many places you go and see those kind of numbers on the banners. but that's what you find here when you come to East Grand Rapids.
Unbelievable. Well, they got their back up against it now. 3rd and 2, ball at the 6. Carter Blough into the end zone.
That's like a Super Bowl. That's just bounce, bounce, bounce. I say bounce, bounce, bounce. We're going to get a look here on the replay. And what Carter Blough does is this is a play that's kind of designed off tackle. It's going to your right here. Nothing there. Bounce, bounce. He keeps seeing blue shirts. He just keeps widening it, use a little bit of speed. And he turns it up before he runs out of real estate east and west. So nice job. That's Carter Blough's. He deserved it. He led the way twice for Joe Rao. That time he gets to finish the deal.
Had 2 touchdowns last week, gets his first touchdown of the game today. He's done it in the blocking game, he's done it in the running game, and he's done it from the linebacker position. He pays it off, so after cutting it to 7, Lowell now back in front by 2 scores.
Back at Memorial Field, East Grand Rapids High School, Lowell just opens it up a little bit, 21-7. Good look here. Why? This is going to be a touchdown by Carter Blough. Let's watch the offensive line. You got George and Willard and Post at center and Vandermeulen and Rich. This is inside zone. Everyone's just kind of wedging. Blough bounces on his own, but you can't bounce it if everyone's not tied up inside. And if you watch, the white jersey's got a helmet on a helmet here, clogging things up, and just a nice little chip block by Rao. As I said earlier, Blough helped Rao for the first 2 touchdowns. That time Rao helped Blough. I feel like a Dr. Seuss book.
There's only one, folks, and his name is Rob Rubick. No, good stuff. Great job breaking that down. You're exactly right.
I just like when you talk about Easton Rich and Bryson Vandermeulen and Ethan Willard and Ian George and Ethan Post. These are the guys. We've been talking about Blough and Rao all night. Well, they don't do what they're doing if the big fellas up front aren't doing work.
No question. Ball's away. East Grand Rapids will have an opportunity to have a return. And still on his feet. That was Jack Higgins in the return game, so decent starting field position for the Pioneers. They dropped the puck. Hockey is back. Red Wings preseason. It has begun. Bally Sports bring you all the action tomorrow night. Detroit taking on the Blue Jackets of Columbus. That'll be inside Little Caesars Arena. Puck drops at 7. That'll be on Bally Sports Detroit Plus. Wings and Jackets.
Hey, how about the year the Tigers have had, huh?
Heck of a year.
Great year. I mean,
watched last night against Minnesota?
What are they within, like 4 games or 5?
3 games left, yeah.
Unbelievable. What a great
3
job.
games left in Chicago. Try to finish this thing the right way.
AJ, getting that team turned around and making competitive that quickly.
East Grand Rapids, Drew Caswell back in as the ball carrier. He'll get up to the 40-yard line. So picks up 4 yards on first down. 11:35 remaining in this football game.
But it doesn't mean you have to panic. It's a 2-possession game. If it was a 3-possession or 4, you might have to start just throwing all the time. But you can still implement a run game. And if you can run it, if you do throw the ball, it's going to help in your play action.
David Berniker, senior quarterback.
They still have 7 in the box. You got man outside.
From shotgun, hands it off. Caswell, nowhere to go. You know why? He was stuffed by Gus McDonald, big number 55. Stayed on his block and then just came up and stuffed it.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised here. As you can look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the box. That's a straight 52 look. You're outnumbered offensively. There's too many white shirts there. You got man-to-man with 4 guys on the outside. I think if you're EGR in that situation, you got to have an audible check to something else, to some type of pass, because you got 4 of your guys. One of them needs to win outside against man.
Ortson in motion is going to come to the near side of the screen. Berniker back to pass, gets rid of it. Incomplete. He's looking on the outside, trying to find Marcin Megario.
It's 10:30. I think they're thinking about possibly going for it here. Casey Longo might say this is now or never. And what really makes you think that in this type of game is that Lowell can possess the ball. They can make a quarter go pretty quickly, as we saw in the first half. Their running game, you've been unable to stop it the last 2 or 3 possessions. So you might see a hard count here to try to shorten it and then go for it.
4th and 6, Berniker looks to the sideline, checks off. Three receivers at the top of the screen. Berniker. Here comes pressure. Berniker rolling left. Tries to throw across his body. Incomplete. Turnover on downs. Lowell did a job. Number 19, the sophomore, Xavier Young, nearly came up with the INT.
Well, how about Berniker here? He's rolling left. He's going to throw back across his body. And Connor Callahan, that really goes through his hands. That's tough. Coverage is good, but sometimes a great play will beat good coverage. And this was a great play by Berniker. He gave Callahan a chance to make that catch. Now, the coverage on Callahan was pretty tight, too. Really good job in the secondary by Lowell. And now, I think Lowell really one drive away here. You know, about 7-8 run plays. If they could put it in the end zone, that's really, really going to put EGR in a tough spot.
Hune keeps it himself and just absolutely smacked at the line of scrimmage. One of the guys in on the stop is Brendan Burns.
Ooh, he just got klubed. I think that was Josh Kluge on that one.
Number 9, Brendan Burns also went on the stop. Looked like both those guys read it well. Loss of 1.
So Hune, yeah, he's done a good job along with Joe Rose in there against that inside veer. We haven't seen much midline, and I know Coach said he will run some midline. And that's where
explain that.
Midline is where he rides that first fullback, that first dive. He'll pull it, then he gets right on behind him and follows him through the hole. We saw it once or twice, but when Hune, look at him, 150 pounds, you can't make him have too many carries. He's not built for that.
This time, Carson Crace picks up 9 yards. That'll bring up 3rd and manageable. We'll make it 3rd and 2.
Okay. This is just a quick trap. We're going to quick look at the replay. They're going to pull left to right. Right after this play, we'll take a look at it. We'll show what they're doing inside. 3rd down and 2, a little hard count.
Tried it. This time gives it to Crace, and Crace does what he does, picks up the first. Legs still churning down near the 15-yard line.
Well, let's look at that trap that we're seeing. The left guard's going to pull. He kicks out, follows up through, and you see Crace. Now, this one here, this isn't the trap. This is just the straight veer, the give. He's reading the defensive end, stays high too long. Actually, against the inside veer, it's a defensive tackle you're reading. I misspoke. You read the defensive tackle, and if he comes up the field at all, you give it. If he crashes down, if he squeezes, you pull it.
Fitzpatrick in motion. Carter Blough. Blough leaning right into the defender. Down to the 13-yard line.
Johnny, you got to be, I can't speak for you, but aren't you a little bit impressed with Lowell? That this is a 1-4 football team with the type of people they have on the back end and the secondary they cover. All this offensive line seems to be physical and play. They got 2. They don't have that breakaway guy, but they will pound you. They'll keep punching you in the face.
That's a tough league, no question about that. Again, you got Byron Center in there, Grand Rapids Christian, Forest Hills Central.
Is South Christian in the white or just Grand Rapids Christian? Do we know that? Yes, they both are. I love having the natives up in the booth with us because they actually listen to us. And when you say something, you look at them, they give you the head nod, yes or no. It's our crack research team, which we hire out when we go to these cities around the state.
We're paying them with Twizzlers. That's all we have is currency up here.
Pull and peel, though.
All right, it's Coach Longo. He knows his defense has to bristle up here.
Right here. This is it, Johnny. I mean, if you allow another touchdown, you see no hurry by Lowe. I think Coach Hennigan is going to take a timeout, let the play clock run down. There don't seem to be any hurry here. It's 5, 4, 3. There you go.
All right, Coach Hennigan calls timeout. They use their first one here of the second half. 2 touchdown advantage and important 3rd and 4 forthcoming. We'll bring it to you next.
Lowell has been fantastic on the O-line today, and maybe it has something to do with their head coach, Jacob Hanege. He was a championship O-lineman in 2001 in Chesaning, and then went on to win 3 titles at Grand Valley under Brian Kelly in his first year. There he is right there holding up the championship trophy. He was a 2-time All-GLIAC lineman, and he said what he learned from Brian Kelly at the time, who now coaches Notre Dame, how to be relentless. and never give up. And that's what he's instilling in his young players. And, of course, his experience on the O-line is certainly proving valuable here as he's teaching these guys how to block and create holes for Josh Rouse, having a heck of a game here today along with Carter Blough, guys.
Rubes, what do you know about Grand Valley football?
I did radio for Grand Valley, I think 95 to 99 before I started doing Eastern, and I went back a couple years at like 11 to 12. But Brian Kelly, I knew he wouldn't be there too long. He had it. He understood it, and him and his wife did great things. They've given back to that university like no one expected and was not necessary, but that's why they had the Brian Kelly Sports Center there. And he gave back, I don't know how many millions of dollars. It did forget where he came from, and I like that about people.
Yeah,
we had Eastern Michigan. TJ Lane did the same thing. TJ, who does some for Bally's as well. He gave back a bunch of money. They had TJ's garage. It's the weight room. It's where the team comes out before the game. I like that. Guys that have been lucky and blessed in life and make that kind of money that they feel not obligated, but feel that it's necessary to do something back to the people that helped them.
Dawson Hune hands it off. Josh Rao. So nice job by the defense here, forcing a fourth down. Well, that was fourth down.
That's a big play. 4th and 1. That's Coach Hennigy ran the clock down, talked it over. He said, who do we give it to? Here's the advantage if you give it to Rao instead of Blough, is you get that lead blocker. You get Blough to lead block for you. And, we talk about Blough being 215. I got to believe Rao was pretty close. We saw him on the field. He's got to be 2'5", 210 as well.
All right, so now 1st and goal from the 6-yard line. A little confusion there. Carter Blough wrapped up after a modest gain. Nick Collins in on the stop for East Grand Rapids.
Yeah, this clock right now is just no hurry by Coach Jacob Hennigy. Just taking his time. You see Hune come over, gets the play, runs back in. Just keep an eye on the back judge underneath the goalpost. We get a shot of him because when he puts his hand straight up in the air, that means there's 10 seconds. And then when he starts going with his arm like a karate chop, that's 5, 4, and 3, and that's what the quarterback should be looking for.
Hune to Rao. Rao tries to put his foot in the ground, cut back up. Maybe picks up a yard. That'll bring up 3rd down again. And this Pioneer defense continuing to stand in there, but they have to stop him here. Approaching 5 minutes to play in the ball game, and Hennigy, everybody in the stadium knows what's coming next. They say, here's what we're doing, try to stop us. 3rd and 6 from the 6. Now inside 5 minutes remaining, and we'll see if Hennigy decides to take time out. They'll let that play clock tick down.
I'm not sure the back judge. I'm looking at him. Yeah. I think he got caught. I don't think he was actually timing because I looked at the play clock. That was about 40 seconds. And then he took a timeout. Yeah, good job, Johnny. You saw that.
Let's take it out of Menard's big money moments. Again, Josh Rao in for the first touchdown of the game. Rao a second time, again, riding behind that offensive front. And then Carter Blough doing his part, bouncing it out around the outside in for the score. They've got 3 touchdowns on the board, and they've been riding on their talented running backs here tonight. Can they find the end zone one more time again?
Yeah, let's. We talked in the open that what's going to solve Rubik's Cube, the puzzle, and this would happen. Have a tank we're seeing right now in the 4th quarter, finishing the game, and we're seeing that with the drives they put together, that offensive line, the counterattack after turnover. They're able to take it in and get points, get a touchdown, and shoot early, shoot off. They really didn't do that one, I would say, as much as they did play physical early. Now, the other ones, absolutely to a T. That one, they didn't really take many shots. They had the one longer pass. But overall, really good job of execution. And one turnover is the only, really blemish on the record tonight of this Lowell Red Arrows team.
High formation. Hune. Rao. Nowhere to go. East Grand Rapids defense stepping up on 3rd down. That'll bring up 4th down. Timeout on the field. This time East Grand Rapids will take it. So still some time left. Now, what do you do if you're Lowell here? Huh? 4 down territory. Remember, they said inside the 20. He does like his kickers a little bit. Todd Parchetta, Bryce Thompson. Would we see a field goal here to make it a 3-score game? We'll find out on the other side of this break. Well, always special when the Bally Sports van comes to town, but certainly special when it is homecoming.
You call that a van?
Was that a van? That was a bus.
That's a bus.
That's
a van.
Well, I came in a van. Okay. Girl Scout Troop 8140, always bringing the energy here in East Grand Rapids.
You know, this, I'm going to say the one in DeWitt was better. You know why? Because Herman Moore was there. I know what Herman.
Rubes, is that you?
Are you kicking?
He's got my arms. I need to get in the weight room a little bit, I think.
You're stuffed. I know that much.
That float, I walked by these. That float was good. The one behind it was not very good.
They're going to kick a field goal here.
Well, this is what
Todd Parchetta.
I'm going to tell you about what I tried to implement at Eastern with Coach Creighton, what I want the Wings to do on this. If you get a chance, I'll talk about it.
And how about Parchetta splitting the uprights? Maybe a little confidence boost for the young man who plays a lot of soccer.
He talked about how he had a couple of soccer players and that they were improving each and every week, and his confidence was growing with them. So obviously Coach Hennig had enough confidence to give Parchetta a chance, and he sticks it inside the left upright.
I think it's important, especially for a sophomore kicker. Remember, they can't come to all the practices because they play soccer. So
they're kickers anyways. They don't need to. It's just kicks. There it is.
Way to go, Todd. Look at that. That'll give the young man a little bit of confidence. You might need that later in the season.
Yeah, this is from the right hash. Ooh, just sneaks it inside the left upright. But yeah, it is. That's a confidence builder.
More importantly, it makes it a 24/7 ball game.
Well,
so now,
yeah, you hate to say game, set, match because we want people to stay with us here on the broadcast and enjoy Johnny Kane's humor. But I think they're up against it. Now you pretty much throw the run game out the window if you're East Grand Rapids. You got to come out and start slinging it, and you can't be throwing short stuff. You got to try to get vertical, and hopefully when you guys can make a 50-50 catch, because Lowell will be playing deep. This is where you don't let anyone get by you. You're deep as a deepest in this situation.
There's the East Grand Rapids band. Still putting on a show. Had a heck of a halftime performance here. Halftime always a great homecoming always a great celebration as Lowell able to kick this football away. And they're going to bring Fortson up to give him a chance to touch it. It's up to the 30-yard line and not much running room. It looks like a late hit out of bounds, and there comes the flag. So, again, you want to be smart. Don't want to make these types of penalties late in the game, give them any type of momentum or any type of hope. But I want to ask you this, Rubes. As the personal foul call is forthcoming, you said before the game, not necessarily an elimination game, but when you see a team like Lowell, what does this do for the chances?
Well, it's huge for Lowell. If you're East Grand Rapids, now you're 1-5. If you win your last 3, that puts you at 4-5, which doesn't mean you're out of it now this year with the point systems. Their losses, those teams that they lost to are getting them a lot of points. Those teams, most of them have winning records.
But for Lowell now, you got a chance. Now, again, they still have Byron Center coming up, and they got some tough games, but that gets them to 2 wins on the season. Start feeling a little bit better about yourselves, and then you got the schedule moving forward.
Well, Lowell's, they're in a good situation where if they can go, if they roll the table now, they're going to end up with 5 wins, and that would definitely put them in the playoffs at 5-4 with their schedule. That center was late again.
That's 3 times tonight we've seen that. Little miscommunication between the
and that's on
center and quarterback.
You don't want to pinpoint anyone.
On the offense.
But when 4 guys go at the same time,
repeat first down,
and you're a half a click behind them, I'm going to guess that the 4 are probably correct. But that also comes from, Johnny, the fact that we've seen the struggles a little bit that Hayden's had, Bentley. But when you got guys over here like Ballabuck and McDonald who've been playing physical and quick in the gaps, you're trying to snap that ball, plus get your step, get your block.
And Bernica rolling left. Coming across, he's got Masick. And that'll be just shy of the first down. We're talking about Lowell's upcoming schedule here, Rubes. You can see what it is. Again, the tough games earlier in the year against Mona Shores and Caledonia, but now you've got, let's say you pencil in a win here against East Grand Rapids.
Yeah, this Byron Center team undefeated.
Right.
Greenville, I think this is not a great year for Greenville. They've had some good teams. My buddy Ty Halleck, former Michigan State Spartan, Greenville alumni, and Grand Rapids Northview. I don't know a lot about Northview right now. So, yeah, I think two of those definitely are winnable. Byron Center will be a good test for Lowell, but the way they play, they can play with a lot of teams.
Berniker taking a shot down the field. What a grab! What a grab by Ian Masick. Inside the 20-yard line, flag came in. I think it's going to be pass interference against Lowell.
It is. And here's what Masick does it so well. When a quarterback's in a scramble situation and he comes to you, you go away. Masick was running a drag across the field, and when he sees him call it, sets it. And look at that Berniker rather. He tells him to go. He signals go because Masick was running across. He gives him a little signal, go up top. They throw it to the defender. The defender gets caught looking in the backfield for a minute, and then as he tries to recover, Aiden Fitzpatrick gets a pass interference called. A nice one-handed catch, too, as well by Masick.
Got to score quickly, see if they can pay it off on a fabulous one-handed grab. Looking into the end zone for Fortune. I think it's picked off inside the 5, is it? It is.
Well, we've seen some really nice throws here in the second half by Berniker. That was not one of them. He just underthrew. They tried to throw the fade, get it over the top. But Connor Lixie, he sits on this. He knows. You see the ball kind of duck on him, but we call that a little bit of a wounded duck as it doesn't spiral. And I think that also hurts the flight of it. And Lixie, he locates the ball. If you can, as a defensive back, high points it. That's a nice play, and that's probably the final nail in the coffin for the Pioneers tonight. But what a enjoyable game this has been for me. It gives me so many memories of the history of these two programs and the lore and the championships combined and the battles they've had, some of the great games at Ford Field and the Pontiac Silverdome, because I'm really old. These two teams have been part of. And it's nice to see. I really believe that Coach Jacob Hennigy of Lowell and also Casey Longo has done a nice job of getting these teams back. They're not where they need to be yet, but they're getting closer.
Hune, see if they can get a little breathing room out from their own goal line. Take a look at some other scores from across the state of Michigan here tonight. Ruse, we knew tonight was going to be a good one here. But how about
we knew
Clarkston,
it was.
West
I picked West
Bloomfield,
Bloom in this. I thought West Bloom would win. Clarkston has been winning, playing well enough to win. There's Sterling Heights, Stevenson, and Chip Valley. I picked Chip in that one. I'm not doing well.
Lost it. That's a final. How about
De
this
La Salle?
one?
I picked that one too. I like De La Salle. I think I saw their youth programs last year, their freshman JV teams play, and I thought they had some talent coming up, and that's a tough loss for CC. First loss of the year, I believe, for Catholic Central. And the next one we're going to give is a lot of interest in this area, especially in the Grand Rapids area, out of the OK Red division. We have,
Caledonia.
Here we go, right here. There's Caledonia, really Holland, West Ottawa. That's surprising. I thought Caledonia would really roll them up. West Ottawa's had their struggles. Coach Ashnock out there. And then Rockford taking care of
Caledonia,
Jennison.
Rockford next week.
That'll be a good one. Caledonia is really a kind of an up-and-comer, new kid on the block, so to speak. Over the last few years, they've really got that program running well and being highly competitive.
I had a chance to call one of their games. I came away impressed. That was last season.
Regular season? Okay.
Hune hands it off. Blough up the middle. Again, we had a good shot of Carter Blough was number 3 in white. Of course, on the other side, David Berniker, number 3, the senior quarterback for East Grand Rapids. Played his heart out here tonight. So here's the rest of the Football Friday broadcast schedule. Again, as I mentioned, Caledonia at Rockford. That'll be next week. And then Essexville, Garber, and Frankenmuth. I'll be on the call for that one on the 15th
You do that
of
one?
October.
I'm doing that one.
Nice.
See
you there.
We're going to meet at Zenders, or where do you want to go?
Whatever you want.
Bavarian or Zenders?
I'll let you decide if you're paying.
Why?
Remember you were talking
wait
about
a minute.
TJ Lang and Brian Kelly giving back? How about you giving back a little bit?
I have 4 children. I put 4 through college. How about you, Johnny? How many have you had?
I don't know. Good point. All right. I'll pay for my own meal. It's Coach Hennigy calls timeout.
Yeah, there's no way.
Johnny, I enjoy working with you so much. I just might buy dinner.
Let's do it.
You know, here we're going to take a look at the top 10 teams overall. And I saw the number 2. I'm a Lapeer guy, and Grand Rapids Catholic Central, Lapeer opened up with a big house, and Lapeer was up 21-14 or 17.5, and they ended up only getting beat like 45-21. I saw Grand Rapids Catholic Central had some dudes. Rockford, as I said, De La Salle. This is going to be changed a lot, as you can see. Catholic Central with the loss, their first one. Chip Valley, was that their first one? No, these are last. Okay, this is going into this week, right? So this is some of these one-loss teams are going to have 2, like Chip Valley. They're going to drop out of the top 10. Churchill, how about that? Churchill, I think, is really the surprise team of the year.
Yeah, beat Belleville, right?
And they beat Belleville early on. No, Belleville almost got beat again by the first team to come. Remember Fordson? We did the first Wayne State. Fordson, I think 21, 19, 20. Brian Henry in the truck. He would know.
We had
that.
Fordson and Detroit Catholic Central.
What's that, Johnny?
Is that our first week? No, we were at.
Yeah, that was first week. It was at Wayne State. It was 110 degrees and about 120 in the booth.
It was Fordson and Canton was our game.
Canton ran the peekaboo full house tee, and they couldn't do anything against those Fordson defensive tackles.
I didn't think it was that hot.
Oh, I went in at 260. I got home. I was 177.
I see you put it back. I see you're back. It's good to see you healthy again. Back to your playing weight. Well, we saw Detroit King. We saw Cass Tech and King. Obviously,
right.
King ranked number 1 in the state.
Some people think King's it in the state this year.
Ranked number 1.
I don't know. I saw DeWitt, and they do everything well. They can run the ball like D seems physical. Their quarterback I think is the best quarterback in the state of Michigan. If I had to pick one. Now, is he going to be the best college quarterback? I don't know, because he's 5'10". But as far as a high school player, he's special.
Well, I'll tell you what, I come away impressed. Both good football teams, no question about it. But really impressed with the way that Lowell, did what they wanted to do. What's interesting, Rubes, is, you talk to coaches throughout the week and they tell you, what they want to accomplish or what an ideal game plan. He said, look, I think 80-20 would be good run pass. I think they got it done tonight about 90-10.
Right? 95-5.
I mean, so they did what they wanted to do.
Absolutely.
And that's not to say East Grand Rapids didn't know that was coming, but you got to credit the kids for executing what the game plan was here tonight.
As most announcers would say, and I hate it, they'll say they imposed their will. And what I say, they blocked well. They played hard. I don't know how you impose your will on someone. I think it just means you wear someone down over time. But they did that. They played well. They ran the ball hard. They eliminated the turnover after that first one. And that's a really nice high school football game. That just shows you take a couple 1-4 teams that are battling for their lives, trying to get to the playoffs, and they can give you a very entertaining game. Good, a lot of respect between those two gentlemen. You saw Casey Longo.
Yeah. Coach.
Jacob Hennigy, really. They're still walking and talking.
Yeah,
these coaches do a lot of clinics and stuff together
for
too.
Sure.
They hang out and have an adult beverage sometime and visit, and they help each other. What are you running for offense? What do you do? What twist can you do here? What twist can you do there? You run a switch often when you run a power. Do you run switch with your H-back and your guard pulling through? There's different things they do, and I love that. It was a clean game. Didn't get chippy. Really enjoyable.
Yeah, and I know we talk about this a lot, and when teams say, hey, well coached, and we respect the program. But when you actually get down to it, like you said, they know each other. They know these programs. The teams, the players know each other. And there is a lot of mutual respect.
Absolutely.
All right, let's send it downstairs. The third member of our broadcast crew, Trevor Thompson, standing by with a couple of young football players from Lowell. Trev.
Carter Blough and Josh Rao with me, Johnny. Thank you very much. And Carter, let's start with you. First of all, it's homecoming night here. You guys come in and you win like this. You needed the win, obviously, for the rest of your season, for your playoff hopes. How big is this to your program?
Oh, this is great. I mean, this gives us a shot at playoffs. Confidence boosted, for sure.
What about your defense here tonight? How key was it to what you were able to accomplish?
It was great. We had great field position. I think we stuck it out all game. Our morale was up the whole game. It was great.
Now, Josh, we saw you in warm-up, twist an ankle. You looked like you went off the field pretty gimpy there, and your coach was thankful you were able to play. How are you feeling now, and what did it take to get through this one for you?
I'm feeling great now. To get through it is just the willpower. I had to play in this game because, growing up, watching all my family members, my brother, my cousins playing this game, and everybody in Lowell knows that this is a game that every Lowell player dreams of playing. And
How much did it ease the pain to reach the end zone there for the first time here tonight?
It eased it, all right.
But both sides of the ball, you were able to have your fingerprints on this one here today. How impactful were you in that regard as far as leading your team, and how important is it to be a leader in a game like this?
You know, it's just to be a leader in a game like this, you got to go 100% no matter if you're down by 40 or up by 40. Just keep going and bring your teammates along with you.
Your coach told us throughout the week, I'll ask each of you this question and let you go. He told us throughout the week, relentlessness is what your team is all about. That's what it's going to take to get there the rest of the way. How will that play out in your mind, Carter?
I think this team's got a lot of grind. I mean, the grit on this team is just absolutely amazing. We're 1-4 coming to this game, and their effort is just amazing. I don't know, like, we're just going to keep grinding, and we're gonna make a run.
Awesome.
Just, you know, had a tough couple weeks, and, you know, I can see why that would put some kids down, but relentlessness is what we're made of, and what we got to do now in these next few weeks will really test us.
Congrats on a big win on the road for you guys tonight, guys, and thanks for this time.
Thank you, sir.
All right, guys. Johnny, take it away.
Way to go. How about that? Josh Rao, Carter Blough combined for nearly 200 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns. Fabulous effort from the Red Arrows from Lowell. They still have everything in front of them if they're able to finish this season the way they want to. For Trevor Thompson and my partner, Rob Rubick, I'm Johnny Kane saying so long from East Grand Rapids.